Open Verdict, a play for radio by Lester Powell.
At Ashminster today, an open verdict was returned at the inquest on Joan Kendall, the 19-year-old student who was found in the River Ash on Tuesday. It's understood that police are continuing their inquiries. Hotels in the southwest came under fire.
Come in, the door isn't locked.
Oh, those stairs certainly do test out the old bellows, don't they? Hello, old boy. What can I do for you, then? Does he want to go out?
That's the general idea. He usually does about this time.
Ah, I figure, then. Good hunting.
He does most of his hunting in the bishop's dustbins, I'm afraid. No sense of reverence.
I saw your car outside, so I thought I'd just wander up.
Nice to see you.
And how are things with you, then? Busy?
So-so.
Belongs to another age, this place, doesn't it, eh? The cathedral, those old lawns, even the rooks don't look contemporary. Are they rooks?
Ravens.
I didn't realize there were private dwelling places in the close. How did you find it?
Through my boss. It's cathedral property, and he plays the organ.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yes, Mr. Earl is a man of
He's
parts.
a fine photographer.
Best in these parts, or so they say.
I didn't see you at the inquest.
I wasn't called.
I thought you would have been.
The other detective I talked to, chap with sandy hair...
Roy Shields?
He said I wouldn't be needed.
That was before the autopsy. The autopsy shed a different light on things. You see, there's barely 4 foot of water at low tide below Stevens Bridge, where she was found. So the injuries to her head could have been caused by a submerged rock if she threw herself off. On the other hand, she could have been crushed on the bank and then thrown in.
Is that what they think?
There was a certain amount of water in the lungs, but not enough, apparently, to prove drowning. Hamer, how old are you?
How old? 32. 33 in November. Why?
And you've been in Ashminster how long?
Just over a year.
Working for Graham Earl all the time?
More or less.
You take pictures, too?
No, I do the selling. Postcards, calendars, the occasional illustrated guidebook.
And how much does that bring in, then?
About 17 a week after tax.
Oh, not much, is it?
Well, I work the thin end, mostly. The country areas, village stores, sub-post offices, itsy-bitsy gift shops.
Did Joan Kendall pay you?
What for?
The tuition.
It wasn't tuition. I was helping her prepare for an exam.
In what?
Modern history, her subject.
Oh, yes, you've got an Oxford degree, haven't you?
Cambridge, actually.
Talk about her. Give me a picture. Something to bite on.
Do I get to ask a question?
Of course.
Are you here officially?
Oh, dear, am I wearing my CID hat?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, I had this case thrown at me unexpectedly, less than 2 hours ago, as a matter of fact.
There are people in the town, in the university, who knew her a whole lot better.
I know that.
Then why start with me?
I've got to kick off somewhere, haven't I?
Thanks.
No. Now, you're a bright lad. You're good with words.
Look, Sergeant Piper.
Inspector Piper. The heist came through yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Now then, you were saying?
I'm not completely stupid.
Oh, my dear chap.
An open verdict means that the whole thing, circumstances of her dying, happenings leading up to it, all open to suspicion.
Investigation.
By definition, then, anyone connected with her is open to suspicion.
If you'd prefer it formal, we could wander down to the station.
What I mean, there's method in this, isn't there? Dropping in like casually in the quiet of a summer's evening. I mean, there's technique in it, isn't there?
You'd feel happier, more relaxed in an interrogation room.
No.
Oh, wise choice. They've just redecorated it mustard yellow, like fever. Shall we talk?
Go ahead.
How did you meet her?
Arnold Rowland's gift shop.
Ah, yes, Ashminster Gifties.
He's a customer of mine. She works for him, full-time out of term, part-time in term.
And so one day she says, Mr. Hamer, I need a hand with my history.
I asked her to a symphony concert at the cathedral.
Good. I want to make the distinction clear.
What distinction?
That you saw her first as a girl, as a woman, afterwards as a student.
Wait, you're going at those fences too fast. You're saying there was a sexual attraction.
And wasn't there?
I don't see the relevance.
That's just what I'm looking for, a point of relevance. She didn't die in that river for no reason at all, you know. Now, put it this way. She has cross eyes and knock knees. You still ask her to the concert?
I can't answer that.
Because she didn't have cross eyes and knock knees?
Right.
What happened at the concert?
They played Berlioz, Saint-Saëns, Frederick the Great.
Who?
He found time to write music between building Potsdam and fighting wars.
No.
Afterwards, we had coffee. I told her I'd once been a lecturer in modern history, and she told me about this exam and how worried she was about it. I offered to help her.
The university provides an adequate tutorial system, would you say?
I believe it does, yes.
Then did she need your help? What made you think she did?
I made her the offer because I wanted to see more of her.
Well, didn't that enter into it?
Could have done. I liked her. I enjoyed her company.
In that case,
Hold on. There is, believe it or not, something else in this besides sexual attraction. I have a passion for history. What she offered was an opportunity to indulge it.
just that one passion.
If you're asking, did I go to bed with her, the answer is no.
She wasn't a virgin, you know. That at least emerged clearly with the autopsy.
Is that your point of relevance? Her deflowered state?
It could be. This tuition, coaching, whatever, where did it take place?
Here?
At night?
It had to be at night. I'm out of the city most of the day.
How many nights a week?
2, 3, it varied.
She'd arrive at what time?
9, sometimes later.
And you'd work with her till when?
That too varied.
Now, Hamer, she was seen, and more than once, leaving this flat at 2 o'clock in the morning. All right. Tell me something. Was her death a surprise to you?
A surprise? It was a kick in the guts.
Knowing her as well as you did, you mean?
Slow down. There you go again. My relationship with her wasn't intimate in any sense. She wasn't a girl who talked about herself or about her relationships with other people, the things that had happened to her.
Unusual girl.
Now, that's where your point of relevance is, so far as it concerned me. What I liked about her, why I enjoyed her company, up to and beyond the horribly immoral hour of 2 o'clock in the morning, was the fact that she wasn't like everyone else, a die-stamping in a miniskirt with long hair.
Was she a happy girl?
Not exactly, not constantly.
Well, who is, even at 19?
Especially at 19.
Right.
I'd say she was a mercurial person.
Yeah, up 1 minute and down the next.
Of course, at 19, stamina, consistency isn't a common factor.
So, we come out with this, do we? She was given to fits of depression.
Not depression exactly. Boredom. She was given to great gaping fits of being bored.
And that is a common factor at 19.
Very much so.
But few of them wind up in the river because of it.
If you're asking, did I see her as a suicide, I didn't. It could have been that, I suppose, on a sudden impulse. If suicide is a thing of sudden impulse, which I doubt.
No, I don't go along with suicide myself. You're serious. Suicide doesn't cart herself into only 4 foot of water. If serious, she'd do her own work on that. Besides, where's the motive? She was a good student, no emotional entanglements, no money troubles.
She wasn't all that well off. She had to have a job to make her grant stretch.
She had £300 saved up, found in her room in crisp new fivers.
Now, that does surprise me. She often complained of being short of cash.
So, what do you think?
About the £300?
Why she died?
An accident?
She was standing on Stevens Bridge in the middle of the night when she comes over all faint and topples off.
It's a possibility, isn't it?
Hardly. The parapet on that bridge is 5 foot high.
Not something you could just trip over.
How much did Arnold Rowland pay her?
Oh, I don't know. But not enough, I should imagine, to account for her having £300. Roland's a tight man with £1.
Well, thanks. We'll talk again. If anything occurs to you, something you've forgotten, you can contact me at the station.
Who there? Oh, it's you. Hang on a minute. Hello, James.
I was passing, saw the light.
Checking over the stock for the weekend. Just finished. Another minute and you'd have missed me. Been on my way for a much-needed pint.
I'll walk along with you.
Fine, fine. Just lock up.
Coming across the grass?
Yes, to the Lion. Care to join me?
I won't, thanks all the same. I'm on my way to the cathedral.
Well, I don't have services this time of night, do they?
Organ practice. I have to see my boss.
Oh, that reminds me. I could do with some more postcards. Cathedral series. Sell a flock over the holiday.
I'll drop you some in the morning. 10 dozen.
Better make it 12.
Will do. You heard the verdict?
On the radio. I suspect foul play, then.
Presumably.
Violent times, these. Even Ashminster offers no protection. When I first heard about it, I said, suicide. Poor girl drowned herself. High rate of suicide among students. They worry. Not like in my day.
Have the police been on to you, Arnold, since the inquest?
No.
Chap from the CID called on me this evening, Inspector Piper.
Harry Piper?
I don't know his first name.
Above my age, thick-set, dark, Cornish-looking with a cleft chin?
That's him.
Well. Small world. Harry Piper and I used to play in the county rugger team together. One of the best lock forwards we ever had.
He may be calling on you, too.
Ah, I'd be glad to see him. Not that I could tell him much about the girl. I didn't know her all that well. Outside the shop, I mean. Never even saw her outside the shop. Rather funny, really. Ashminster isn't all that big.
By the way, they know about the £300.
Oh? Do they?
I thought you'd be interested.
Yeah.
Well, here's where I leave you. See you in the morning.
Hey, spare me a moment.
Of course, Harry. Come along in. Well, you look frazzled, don't you?
I talked to Hamer.
I didn't find him all that wearing, personally. Rather restful, as a matter of fact.
I hope I'm not turning into a dirty old man with the advancing years, Roy, but that girl was a doll.
She was, even in the mortuary.
Now, our boy's 32, 33 in November. He's good-looking, personable in his way, all that. So what's he doing, poring over the history books with her far into the night?
Yeah.
Is that all he was doing? Another thing, he's got a good degree. He's bright, quick-witted, no mental handicap as far as anyone can see. So why is he peddling picture postcards for a pittance?
Well, I can tell you the way he tells it. The way he told it to me. Right, now, yeah. He got married in his last year at Cambridge, got a job in Canada when he came down, history lectureship, University of Ontario. Now, 2 years ago, his wife and child, a boy of 7, were killed when their car was hit by a train at a level crossing. Now, that broke him up. Packed in his job, drifted, got on the bottle, and last year, when his money ran out, he turned up in Ashminster.
But why Ashminster? He's not Devonian, is he?
No, it comes from somewhere over on the east coast. Why Ashminster is the cathedral?
What, a religious retreat, spiritual sanctuary, that kind of thing?
To rebuild his life.
He's not coming on very fast, is he? Been here a whole year, and he's still only earning £17 a week after tax.
The rebuilding wasn't economic, Harry.
Obviously not.
That's the way he tells it. You don't have to believe it.
This girl was a doll, a real doll. I keep coming back to that. And Hamer's interest in her being purely academic.
It's feasible.
Anything's feasible if you try hard enough.
Oh, hello, James.
Some climb up here, isn't it?
Yes, the last thing an organist needs in this cathedral is a tendency to vertigo. In fact, one fell out of this loft in the 1840s and broke his neck down there on the choir stall. Now, the reason I wanted to see you, James, how do you feel about leaving here?
Ashminster?
I've just bought a business up in Dudley. Going to give me more scope to do things I want to do, more worthwhile things, more rewarding things. And I need someone to take over the paperwork, administration, sales, promotion, and so forth. You're the ideal man for the job.
Thank you.
Naturally, there'll be an adjustment in salary, and also there's a roomy flat for you, much better than what you have now.
I can't take this in. You're leaving Ashminster?
Yes, I'm going to hate it in some ways. So's Mary, but needs must. The boy's education costing more and more every year. I have to expand, James, no choice.
What sort of business is it? Photography?
A small publishing company. Small but well established. Art books, brochures, good class publicity material.
Happened very quickly, didn't it?
Very. But it had to happen like that. The present owner's off to the Bahamas. Quick sale or nothing. I had to move with speed.
Well, when would you want me to go up there?
The day after tomorrow.
You did move with speed.
I can't leave Ashminster myself for a week or two. Lots of things to be wound up. The flat's fully furnished, James, even down to bed linen. You've only your clothes to pack.
It isn't quite as simple as that, Graham.
You have no ties here?
No, but a commitment.
Look, I'll be frank with you, James. I'm relying on you. After all, I've helped you out in the past.
When I needed a roof over my head.
Now, that's not what it's about, return for favours received. This is good for you, James. It's your chance to rehabilitate yourself? Take your proper place in the world? I can tell you now, but it's often bothered me seeing a man of your calibre hawking postcards. Dudley could be your way back, James.
And you're handing it to me on a plate.
There's no sentiment. I want you to have the job because I'm convinced you can make a success of it, thereby benefiting me.
I can't go, Graham.
Why not? What's the commitment?
Joan Kendall.
Who's she?
You met her.
Did I when?
6-7 weeks ago, I brought her to the office. She wanted to change her job.
Oh, I remember. Pretty little thing. Isn't she at the university?
She's dead. Found in the river last Tuesday.
Dead? Oh, yes. She's the girl, the inquest.
That's right.
But, I don't quite follow. Why are you committed if she drowned herself?
Because she didn't drown herself.
Oh, I see. Oh, that explains the police car. Yes, I happened to notice it outside your flat while I was talking to the Dean. Are you under suspicion, James? Is that what it is?
I'm probably under suspicion, but that isn't the reason for the feeling of commitment. I'm committed because I have to find out whether or not I had a hand in her death, however it happened.
Don't you know?
I gave her a certain piece of advice, which she followed. If I hadn't given her that advice, if she hadn't done what I suggested, she might be alive today.
I don't see you can say that with any certainty.
I can't. That's why I have to stay here, until I'm certain, one way or the other.
Well, if you say so.
I'm sorry.
What was the advice, if I may ask?
After we talked to you and there was no job going till the end of the summer, I advised her to stay on with Arnold Rowland till then.
Well, what does Rowland say about it? Have you talked to him?
Well, he isn't a man I know well. He might not understand my reason for wanting to know. I'm not sure I understand it myself.
It goes deeper than just the girl. Awful though it was, doesn't it?
Yes. This is the second time in 2 years that I've had a close connection with violent death.
Oh, you weren't culpable. Not the first time. Oh, you were driving that car, yes, but that was all.
Why did I escape then? Why wasn't I smashed to death along with them?
God's will.
And it was God's will that Joan Kendall should end up in the river?
Of course.
God's will, or God's punishment?
He gives and he takes away. Look, James, I know how you feel. In your place, I'd feel pretty much the same, but with this difference, I should feel that I must do something. Not just sit and search into myself for flaws and weaknesses, asking why has God punished me?
Well, here I might be able to do something.
What?
I don't know yet.
Well, will you do something for me?
If I can.
Think my proposition over. Sleep on it.
All right.
Good. Come and see me at lunchtime tomorrow.
I'll do that.
Aren't you going to stay? I've got a piece of Monteverdi I thought you might like.
I want to talk to that detective again. Good night.
Good night.
Cigarette?
No, thanks.
I always live on the job at the start of a case. The first 48 hours are vital, given that the thing has complications. If you don't crack it in the first 2 days, your chances diminish sharply. Now then, what have you got for me?
I'm not sure it'll help.
Try it.
After you left me, I talked to Arnold Rowland.
What did he have to say?
It was more what he didn't say. I mentioned the £300 you found in her room, and he didn't seem in the least surprised. He knew about it, in other words.
Maybe he gave it to her?
Maybe he did, but why? What for?
You said he was a hard man with a pound.
I expect you can bear that out. You played rugger with him, didn't you?
So, if she went to him and asked him to lend her money...
She wouldn't do that.
Why not? She's in financial difficulties. She works for him. What's more natural?
If she was in money difficulties, had a pressing debt to settle, would she stuff the money in a drawer and leave it there?
We found the money under her mattress, not in a drawer. Now, tell me, what makes you so sure she didn't ask Rowland for money?
The circumstances.
What circumstances?
Well, about 6 weeks ago, she told me that she was having trouble with him and asked me to help her find another job. I took her along to Graham Earl, but he didn't have a vacancy, not till the end of the summer.
What kind of trouble? Did she specify?
She didn't have to. Rowland's a single man. It's obvious what the trouble
Not
was.
necessarily. Still, let's assume that. Rowland makes a play for her. She doesn't fancy him. You can't find her another job, so she goes on working for him.
On my advice. She needed the money coming.
She could have found another job without your help. Why didn't she?
I told you. I advised her not to.
Oh, you had that much influence on her, yet you maintain your relationship with her wasn't an intimate one.
One can have influence without intimacy.
Can one? I suppose so. Anyway, she takes your advice. Then she runs into difficulties. She has to have £300 in a hurry, so she does a deal with Rowland.
No.
Why no?
I knew her well enough for that.
To you, she was honest, straight and pure.
Yes.
Wouldn't sell herself.
No.
Not in any circumstance.
Not in any circumstances.
You're an intelligent fellow, Amy. You bristle with brains.
Thank you.
But in this job, you wouldn't last 5 minutes.
You're saying I'm naive?
I'm saying you assume a consistency of behavior in people that they don't necessarily have, especially girls of 19.
That's saying I'm naive.
All right, we won't quibble over a word. Oh, excuse me. Piper? Oh, yes, Roy. What? Yeah, keep him down there for 3 or 4... No, wait. Show him into the interrogation room, will you? You know, that's funny. You know who's here?
Roland?
You must have thrown a scare into him, and he's come to throw suspicion on you. It's rather funny, don't you think?
So when I heard you were on the case, Harry, thought I'd come along and have a chat. Without it being official, if you follow me.
Oh, I'm glad you did, Arnold. Nice to see you
Yeah,
again.
it's been a long time. One loses touch. You know how it is.
But about it not being official, Arnold, you do know, don't you, that there could be foul play behind all this?
Of course. An open verdict.
So anything you have to tell me, touching on the girl, that is, has to be official.
Well, if you say so.
So long as it's understood.
If it's how you want it, Harry.
Isn't how I want it. It's how it has to be. Of course, if you just want to chew over old tides, we'll go round the corner and do it over a pipe.
No. It's about the girl.
Okay.
Well, I have to explain first my own position, why I didn't come forward with this before.
Now, take your time. Take your time. There's no rush.
When I first heard about it, I assumed it was suicide, same as everyone else. It was a natural assumption.
Was it? Why?
Well, she was a moody sort of girl, you know, temperamental.
I've had several different accounts of this girl, and they all vary. Well, that's to be expected, of course. Everyone sees things and other people in his own individual way, but what's strange here is that the more I have her explained to me, the shadowier she becomes.
No, not mark you that I knew her well. Not outside the shop.
Ah, well, how was she in the shop?
Well, she wasn't rude to people, customers.
Is that all?
Oh, you'd be surprised. The students who come to me because they have to supplement their grant, you'd think they were doing me a favor. Don't even try. Most of them treat the customers like dirt. Now, she didn't do that. Have to be fair to her. She was willing enough, too, and fairly reliable. But, I don't know. There was something.
She was bored?
No, not that exactly. Difficult to put your finger on it.
Try.
Well, she gave me the impression, she did to me at any rate, that selling gifts to tourists was beneath her, you know, peddling grockle fodder.
Oh, she was a bit grand, you mean?
No, not that exactly. Didn't have a lot of airs and graces like some of the young ladies at the university I've employed. No, she was aloof. I think that's the word. She lived by herself, if you see what I mean.
A loner.
Exactly. She didn't need people.
Self-assured?
Yes, very.
But this doesn't square with a girl who's driven to end it all in the river, does it? Which is what you thought she did.
Well, could have been under pressure, didn't show.
Maybe we all are. What made you change your mind, Arnold?
Changed my mind.
Well, I take it you don't still think she killed herself. Otherwise you wouldn't be here.
No, I don't.
Why not?
Well, firstly, there's the verdict. The coroner isn't a fool. He must have had good reason for presuming foul play. When I heard the verdict, I began to think again, as one would.
Of course.
So, I started to ask myself questions. Who would want to kill her? And why? Of course, wouldn't have been a chance encounter, lonely place, late at night.
It wasn't a sex killing, you know. She wasn't interfered with.
So then I thought, must have been someone she knew, someone she trusted. Of course, as I say, I didn't know much about her private life, hardly anything. But I did know about James Hamer.
Oh. What about him?
Well, she spent several nights a week in his flat.
All night?
Well, I don't know that, not for sure. Shop's just off the close, as you know, and I often saw her on her way through to him. And then if I was up late for any reason, I'd see her coming back, usually around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
You weren't watching for her, were you?
Spying on her? No, nothing like that. I just happened to see her, that's all. I didn't care what she did with her spare time.
He was coaching her for an exam.
Well, I didn't think that had any particular significance, her visiting him at night, any connection with what happened, until earlier on tonight, when Hamer came round to the shop.
And why did that assume significance?
Oh, no, he isn't a friend of mine. Calls on me once every 2 months or so to sell me postcards. Tonight was the very first time he called privately.
What did he want?
Now, what happened was this. He was on his way to the cathedral, or so he said, so we walked across the close together. I was on our way to the Lion for a noggin, been working late, dressing out, checking stock for the holiday weekend. Now, we talked of this and that, and then just before we parted, he asked me whether I'd heard the verdict at the inquest. I said I had. He asked me whether the police had been to see me. I said no, and he said, they know about the £300.
That all?
Well, he said it as though he thought I knew about it.
Do you?
No, double Dutch to me.
We found £300 in her room in fivers.
Do you think Hamer thought I'd given it to her?
Did you?
Did I? Hell, I can't afford to make presents of that size to young ladies.
Neither can Hamer, that's for sure.
Oh, I find it most peculiar his assuming that I knew.
Didn't you ask him to explain?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Well, he said it just before we parted.
Well, your not asking for an explanation could be considered peculiar too, couldn't it? I mean, if it's rather subtle oddities we're looking for.
You're saying I'm making a mountain out of a molehill?
Well, it's not much, is it? To build a case on, I mean, against Hamer.
Oh, I've not tried to cast suspicion on Hamer, Harry. That happened. Puzzled me. Didn't seem to add up. Felt it was my duty to tell you.
Oh, I'm grateful. If more people took their civic obligations so seriously, our job would be a whole lot easier.
There is one other thing.
Yes?
Did you know he was thrown out of a college in America for assaulting a girl student?
No, I didn't know that.
Not what you'd call a subtle little oddity, is it?
If it's true.
Oh, it's true, all right. Found it out in rather a curious way. Shortly after he came to Ashminster and started to work for Graham Earl, he came into the shop and introduced himself. We got chatting, and he happened to mention that he'd taught history in a woman's college in Utica, New York, after he left the university in Canada. It so happens that a friend of mine, a Dr. Faber, an antiquarian, lives in Utica. So, in my next letter to him, I mentioned this, and he wrote back and said there'd been a big scandal about Hamer. He'd attacked one of the students and been heaved out on his ear. I brought the letter with me.
Can you leave this with me, Arnold?
Oh, of course, keep it as long as you like. As I say, Harry, I ought to have come forward with this before, but until I heard the verdict, I really didn't see the point.
I'm very glad, James. More than I can say.
I don't think I was myself last night. Probably thrown by the detective. He's a very agile questioner. I'm afraid I talked a lot of nonsense.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. What you said about feeling yourself committed made a certain amount of sense in the spiritual way.
One of my troubles, a thorny one, is an acute inability to make up my mind, take a decision, ever since that happened in Canada.
Yeah.
Even the simplest decision, like what to have for breakfast.
Yes, that's very often a post-shock symptom.
So they tell me. But sometimes, when it's very bad, when something's sprung on me, like last night, and I have to say yes or no, there and then, I start scurrying about in my head like a blind mouse. I have the sensation that I'm going out of my mind.
Oh, you're not going out of your mind. You've made the right decision. Oh, I'm sure of it. Dudley's the right thing for you, the way out of all your difficulties. I'm convinced of it.
Now, when shall I take off?
When you like. Soon as maybe. How long will it take you to pack?
Oh, I'm already packed. My worldly possessions don't go beyond a couple of suitcases. All I have to do now is get a travelling basket for the cat.
You can leave this afternoon, then?
There's only the lease of the flat.
Oh, I'll take care of that.
Thanks. That's a great help.
Do you need any money?
Well, by the time I've paid for the basket and fed myself on the way and
Well,
at
tell
the
Rose
other
to give you
end-
£25 out of petty cash. Now, I better fill you in on some of the details, what to look for when you're checking through the inventory.
Morning, Roy.
You look rough.
Oh, I didn't get to bed till past 3. I'm still asleep.
Well, this should wake you up. The first real breakthrough.
Oh, what's this? When did this come in?
Half an hour ago.
Oh, Bristol's really on their toes. You're sure there's no mistake? This is the girl Joan Kendall.
Oh, it's Joan Kendall, all right. I circulated her picture last Tuesday afternoon.
When can we see it?
Oh, 15, 20 minutes. They're getting set up now. I'll buy you a cup of coffee to wake you up.
Lights, Constable.
Right, sir.
So, now we know where she got the 300.
There's big money in pornography.
Bigger than I thought. And he presented her as some sort of purity symbol.
Hamer,
Yeah, you're a dedicated scholar. Knows it all, but can't apply any of it to real life.
where are you going? There's another reel.
You keep it. I want a call sent out for Hamer.
I have a right to call a lawyer.
Certainly, if you think you need one.
Obviously, I need one if I'm going to be charged with
Charge?
murder.
Who said anything about a charge?
Then what am I here for? What is all this? You have me arrested on the road.
Not arrested, old
The
son.
police car almost rammed me into the
We
ditch.
just want you to sit down, nice and quiet, and watch a film.
What sort of a film?
A blue film. This is why she was murdered. How's it coming, Roy?
Just a few seconds.
Hamer, what did you do when you left the university in Canada?
I got a job in America, upstate New
Doing the
York.
same sort of thing, lecturing in history?
That's right, in a woman's college.
How long did that last?
Half a term.
What happened?
I quit.
Why? Why?
There was this girl, a student in my class, emotionally unbalanced, a sort of love-hate thing fixed on me. Came to my room one night, poured it all out on me, how unhappy she was. How it would all be all right if only I could care for her a little. When I tried to get her out, she raised the roof. Accused me of trying to rape her. The Dean said there'd have to be a full inquiry. I told her in that case that she could stick the job.
You were afraid of the inquiry?
If the Dean wasn't prepared to accept my word before that of a girl obviously unbalanced, I didn't want to know.
You're proud.
I was short of time then. Or I thought I was.
All set to go.
Good. Well, what did you think of that?
I think that without any doubt at all, it was the most revolting thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
You saw nothing artistic in it?
Is that what the creep who made it claims?
We don't know the creep who made it, but we thought you might, being in the business.
Now, look, I sell picture postcards and calendars, nothing to do with pornography. Where did you get it?
One of those ironic little quirks I was telling you about. Bristol had a tip-off that a pot party was coming up in a private club. They raided it and found this movie instead.
Someone saw it and murdered her.
You know that?
You have a better idea?
Well, no, not offhand.
So we start at square one.
The creep who made the film.
Shouldn't be too difficult to find him, should it?
You'd say it was a professional job, would you? The camera work?
Oh, for sure. There was no mug behind that camera.
There must be hundreds of professional photographers, even in this neck of the woods. Also, it could have been shot anywhere, and so that adds...
It was shot down here, on the moor.
Huh?
In the exterior sequences, you get a clear view of Craig Tor.
And how about the cottage? Did you recognize that too?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
Certain. Look, can't the people in Bristol help? The people who run the club?
All they get's a phone number to call, and that's changed each time.
Yeah, and there's a code. The film's delivered and collected after dark so that nobody gets a good look at the carrier. Amo, are you sure? You work around photography. Doesn't a cameraman, a director, leave his handwriting on a film so that the initiated at least can spot it?
I don't know who made it, I told you. But I do know this. He doesn't deserve to be alive.
Oh, I don't know about that. Is he any more to blame than the people who pay for it?
This load of filth resulted in someone's murder.
The girl didn't have to be in it.
All right. You made the point. I'm naive. She was nothing but a little whore after all. Can I go now?
Where were you in the early hours of Monday morning?
Asleep. I can't prove it, though. My cat doesn't speak English.
Well, what do we do now?
The long, tedious haul again. Start checking, like he says. All the photographers in the area and... Get a blow-up of that cottage and trace the owner. Plod, 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 Roy. It'll get you there in the end.
He isn't here. He's over in the cathedral rehearsing for Tuesday's recital.
When do you expect him back?
Oh, he's not coming back. I thought you were in Dudley.
Rose, you have charge of all the accounts, don't you?
Well, not all of them. I do the day book and the petty cash.
How about the models? How are they paid?
We don't use many. When it's an advertising or publicity job, the agency send their own models.
But when we do use them, who pays them?
Well, I do as a rule.
By cheque or cash?
However they want it, cash more often.
Rose, suppose Mr. Earl wanted to make an exceptionally large payment by cash.
Yes.
Would you go to the bank and draw it for him?
Well, like as not, I would.
And there'd be a record of it?
Oh, yes, we have to keep records for the tax.
Rose, do you recall drawing out £300 for him?
£300? Oh, I don't think so. Oh, when exactly?
6 or 7 weeks ago.
No, I'd remember a sum as big as that.
Suppose he drew it out. Would you have a record?
If he drew it out on the office account.
And if he drew it on his private account?
Well, he has a separate book for that.
And where's that kept?
In his desk.
Rose, I want you to do something for me. A very special favour.
Piper. What? Yes? What? Right, thanks. All right. I'll go down there. Get the car out at once. Roy,
Yeah?
you can drop everything.
What's happened?
The case just came to an end. Arnold Rowland shot himself.
When?
A few minutes ago. Some kids playing near the rugby ground saw a red coupe drive up, and a man get out and go into the changing rooms. It appears he was carrying a tape recorder. Sometime later on, they heard a shot. They told a milkman, and he phoned in. The thing that made the kid stop and stare was that the man who went into the changing room was all tricked out in football togs. County jersey, boots, the lot. He was even carrying a scrum cap. I don't want anybody coming in, Sergeant.
Very good, sir.
I don't see anything.
Over here. See? On the massage table.
God, what a mess.
I suppose this is what you could call a ritual suicide.
Why?
Why did he shoot himself?
Well, the elaboration. Getting into his football gear and laying himself out like this. Here.
Yes, perhaps that's the saddest part of the whole thing. Suppose he wanted at the end to go back to the days when life was good. When he wore that jersey on Saturday afternoons and the crowd roared and he saw himself a hero, a man among men. Ay, poor old Rowley. Well, at least he tidied up all nice and neat for us. No doubt he left all we want to know on this tape. Switch it on, Roy.
It's funny. These are the last words I'm going to speak on this earth. And yet now I'm sitting here, in front of the mic. None of it seems real. As if it happened to someone else. How do you begin? At the end? The end of Arnold Roland? Well, everything will go on as before, won't it? I might never have lived for all the difference it's going to make. Sobering thought, eh? But maybe if I were like James Hamer, if I believed, I'd get a word of reassurance from up there. God would say, okay, love, you may not want to work it all out for yourself, but you didn't live for no reason at all. When you're through with this vale of tears, there's a cushy spot waiting for you up here in paradise. You're not just worm fodder, Rowley boy, God would say. You do have an immortal soul, after all. When she first came to work in the shop, I didn't pay much attention to her as a woman. Apart from the thing I'll tell you about in a minute, I like women. I registered she was pretty, of course. You couldn't fail to do that. But I didn't do anything, make any move. I've had ladies from the university working for me before, and with them I've always stuck to the old Confucian maxim that a man shouldn't foul his own nest. I stuck to that maxim with her. At first, had I known what I know now, I'd have gone on sticking to it, but fast. How was I to know when she walked in, neat and trim, bit shy-looking, smiling easy, though with a smile that lit you up? How was I to know that my doom walked in with her? You want some facts, don't you? Right. When did I first see her as a woman? Well, I can't give you the exact time, day of the week, even the month, but it was evening, after hours. We were dressing out the window together. She was arranging a display of tulip glasses, rather elegant, smoked from Czechoslovakia. She dropped one, cut her finger. Index finger of her right hand. I got the first aid box. Then it happened. For the first time, I noticed what beautiful hands she had. Firm and graceful, with character and purpose. That's what got me going, those white hands. Crazy. Since when have hands been erogenous as parts of a woman's body? After that trivial little thing, I was gone, completely gone. A sighing swain, throat-scraping adolescent, right back to my teens. Extraordinary. Most of the time I felt I was someone else. Someone who irritated me. And all because of a pair of hands. I only had to see her walking towards me, and my throat would swell up, my tongue got too big for my mouth, my hands got bigger and more awkward, stickier. Sometime after this, I don't know how many days, not many, I plucked up my courage and asked her to have dinner with me. Now, stop it right there. Here we have to have an explanation. Old Rowley's attitude towards the opposite sex. Well, it was all right, provided they were birds, dollies, partridge. On a thrash with the lads after a big game, I never hung back, no, sir. when I was confronted by a woman you could get serious about, emotionally entangled, love, that kind of thing, I'd take all fast. I don't know why. That's crazy, too. Come to the end of your life and not understand a fundamental thing about yourself like that. Wasn't that I was scared of marriage? Who wants to be alone? More alone than you have to be. No, only to be attracted to the female, apart from the obvious thing, the sex thing. And I lost my nerve completely. Reduced to a fear-ridden pulp. Actually, it only happened once before. Miss Joan Kendall walked her deadly way into my life. Fact, I was scared that I'd lose my masculinity when it came to the moment of consummation. That's why I ran. Maybe it's not so kinky after all. What causes more trouble between men and women than that simple act of consummation? Another fact. Cops always want facts, don't they? On the telly, they're always yelling for them like seagulls behind a ship. Facts, facts, facts. Give us the facts, as though a fact is something simple, something that comes with a water supply. The fact that I told her that night. Took her to one of those she places on the edge of the moor where they have candlelight and bring the chafing dishes to the table. Cost me £9. Primed by a bottle and 3/4 of Niersteiner Domtal. She could only manage a quarter. I told her the whole bit. Just how it was with me. The fear, the whole works. And what does she do then? After I put it all on the line for her, my life, my innermost feelings, she says primly it's getting late, and I have this early tutorial in the morning. Well, after that, another fact. She goes to James Hamer, as I subsequently find out, and tells him she's having trouble with me, and will he help her find another job? I do this agonizing, soul-bearing act, and she calls it trouble. What do you think? It's a new pitch, a variant on some old chestnut? This thing is bigger than both of us. Come and see me etchings. This what you thought? Who knows? I have no facts on what went on inside her head. My friend Harry Piper said the more he had her explain to him, the shadower she became. He was so right. I was in love with her, worked with her every day, yet she remained the original enigma, the smile on the Mona Lisa. I'm going to spare you and myself the details of what happened the next few weeks. Goes on working for me like nothing had happened. I'm servile, grateful for any sweet crumb of comfort, smile, even acknowledgement of the fact that I'm living and breathing, for God's sake. We'll skip all those weeks, smartish, if it's all the same to you. Right, we come to the night before she died. That night, more to get away from myself and my thoughts, I drove her. No, I shan't name it. I don't want to cause any more trouble. Small club outside the city it was. A little gambling, music, pleasant bar. Chap who runs it, an old mate, says, "Glad you showed up tonight, Rowley. Having a special film show for a select circle. £8 a head, 12, perhaps 15 guys. Long room over the garage." A man was right. Special film. Very special. She was in it. That nice, rather shy girl. Serious student of history. Those fine hands. Star of a blue movie. And not looking as though it's any great agony. As her arm had been twisted. Just the reverse. She really put her heart into the work. And that's how she got the 300 quid. Next night, I wait for her in the close under that big copper beech. She comes out of Hamer's after midnight. Stop her. She's tired. Has an early lecture. Won't it keep till the afternoon? It won't keep till the afternoon. So we walk through the sleeping streets, and presently we're on Stephen's Meadow. And I tell her about the film. I tell her what it does to me. I say, you can imagine how I felt, what I suffered. Seeing the girl you're in love with, want to marry, doing those things up there on the screen in front of a group of sweaty-faced men. You know what she did? She laughed at me. Like it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard. I went berserk. There was a large stone, and Afterwards, dropped her off the bridge. It's all yours now.
Swish it off, Roy.
What now?
We get the rotten bastard who made the film, of course.
Any ideas?
Ideas? A hunch, perhaps. No. More than a hunch. A growing conviction. Wonder why I didn't think of it before. Graham Earl.
Graham Earl, pillar of the cathedral, one of Ashminster's leading and most respected citizens.
Charlie Peace played the organ. Boy, Dr. Crippen was highly respected. Hamer took her to Earl for a job.
He told her no.
But he saw his chance. Chance to up the market value of his product. Fresh-looking young girl, college student, instead of the beat-up old call lady they usually get in a porn movie. Oh, yes, I can see it. Later, Earl makes his approach, privately, not in the office, where nobody knows. He puts it to her. No real harm in it, Ducky. An artistic effort. Better to show people making love than making war. And there's 300 lovely big smackers in it for you.
Well, if he did that, if it was Earl, he's a whole lot better a judge of character than Hamer.
And that, my friend, wouldn't be difficult. Now, we'll go along and have a little talk with Mr. Earl. It could be very revealing. Very revealing indeed.
James, I thought you were in Dudley.
I'll get to the point, Earl. For a whole year, I've hated your guts. Sometimes it's been so intense it's been like a pain.
Are you drunk?
I've hated you because you're the most loathsome of all things, a hypocrite.
No.
Mealy-mouthed but slimy. Serving your God, but making it pay off big. Friend of the dean and chapter and taking the old payola.
What?
Choir groups, school groups, the Plushio weddings, the Christian photographer.
Look, if you think I've got
You're
time to
working on
listen
me
to all-
too, don't you? Chap down on his luck, needs a place to live. You can help. Bit of Christian charity. An attic in the close. Cathedral property. You know how to fix it. For me.
Oh,
You get the lease and sublet it to me for 30% more than you pay for it.
Oh, this is absurd.
I know, Earl. I've known a long time. The hatred I've had all these months is nothing to what I feel now. Since I've seen that load of photographic filth you no doubt made a packet out of.
What are you talking about?
I have proof. The facts. I recognize the flowing Bergman-esque style. You're a damn good cameraman, I'll give you that. I also recognize that little hideaway of yours on the moor. You got a little careless there, Earl, letting that be seen so clearly.
This is proof.
This is proof.
Well, what are you going to do with it? Give it to the police? Oh, James, let's talk this out like rational men. If I hadn't accepted the commission to make that film...
Somebody else would have done it.
Well, of course.
The standard get-out clause. Everyone uses it, the Fifth Amendment.
I had to have the money.
Ah.
Yes, I was pushed. Soaring cost of living, 2 sons at university. I had no room for maneuver.
You had to have a new business in Dudley.
The only way I could meet my obligations. What's so wrong, so hypocritical in meeting one's obligations?
Is that what you were getting me into, a pornography factory in Dudley?
No. I bought the business out of the proceeds of the film.
And other films like it.
All right, but that was my last.
From now on, you were going to play it clean.
I've no need to take the risk. The pressure's off. Look at this realistically, James. Lift your head from the history books. People are different today. Their needs are different. As the young say, better show making love than making war.
Is that how you pitched it to her, in those words?
Well, what difference does it make?
The difference it makes, Earl, is that the girl is dead. The difference that it makes is that the girl was murdered.
Yeah, but not because of the film.
Certainly because of the film. A matter of days after this revolting epic is finished, she's pulled out of the river. Coincidence? We're being rational. Of course she was killed because of the film.
Do you know that for a fact?
I don't know the details. I don't know the person who bashed
You
in
don't
her
even
head.
know for sure that it was murder. For all you know, it could have been suicide.
She drowns herself in an excess of shame at what she'd done. Earl, I saw that film less than an hour ago.
Well, then you know she wasn't worth bothering about. You know she had no more moral sense than a... What are you doing?
I'm going to throw you out of this loft.
You're out of your mind.
Let me go.
It was enough to kill that organist in the 1840s.
There's people down there. Witnesses.
Over you go.
Help! 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 Help!
Over you go.
Let go of him, Hamer.
Out of the way!
Don't be a fool, I tell you.
Oh!
Sorry about that.
Why the hell couldn't you leave it be? Oh, boy, you pack a punch.
All right.
Winded.
Sit down. Mr. Earl, we have certain information about the making and distribution of a pornographic film.
Now look, you can't believe all Hamer says, and I can explain it anyway. True is my cottage on the...
You shot the film in your cottage, yes?
I'm not saying anything.
You already said a mouthful.
Yeah, I was unnerved. This man was trying to kill me.
Roy, take Mr. Earl to the office, will you?
I say nothing without my lawyer.
You'll have your lawyer.
Mr. Earl.
All right. But you're making a mistake. You'll hear more about it. I can promise you that.
All right, Hamer.
Why did you have to butt in?
Butting in is my business.
Why couldn't you let me throw him over?
And what good would that have done you?
He killed the girl. But for him, she'd be alive now.
That is not the literal fact of the matter. The literal fact of the matter is that Arnold Rowland killed her.
You know that for a fact?
Positive. He shot himself an hour ago and left a confession on a tape recording.
Oh, God.
He wanted to marry her. He saw the movie at a stag party. When he texted her with it, she laughed. That drove him over the edge.
Something else Earl has to answer for.
Yes.
How will he answer for it?
Now, Hamer, you've had a university education. You know we don't make the laws.
What'll he get? A few months?
If that.
I'll get him when he comes out.
Let's have that one again.
I'll get him when he comes out.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. I'm not just shooting my
You
mouth off.
won't do anything like that, Hamer. You're pretty short on common, but you're not a complete nit.
All right, you tell me. You're the realist, the one who knows the full score.
All right. He's vermin. But you destroy him and you spend the next 10 years in prison. That proves anything?
Look, I had a hand in this too, you know. I led the girl to her death.
Oh, now, how the blue blazes did you come to work that out?
I took her to his office. I advised her to stay on with Roland.
You're determined to get in on the act, aren't you? Get a chunk of the action. You just have to be guilty, don't you? Maybe you led your wife and child to their death.
I was driving the car.
Ah, you see what I mean? You have to hog the action. Now, listen, boy, I didn't know your lady wife or your little boy. But I do know about Miss Joan Kendall. Now, listen, short course, but packed, as you might say. I don't suppose Mr. Graham Earl had to use a thumbscrew to get her to be in that film, do you?
Now, look, Piper.
Answer the question.
Well, no, but...
And as to her modesty being outraged, her virtue embarrassed by the honest if somewhat bucolic attentions of poor old Rowley. When he told her he'd seen her in that movie, she laughed.
There is a moral issue.
Will you listen to me? She laughed at him, Hamer. She laughed in his face.
That doesn't exonerate Earl. Not in my eyes.
Listen, you. You're not going to exonerate or unexonerate anybody. You're going to get back in line. You're going to stop carrying on like something out of Edwin Drood, that ridiculous Gothic bit brooding under the eaves and gazing with sickly eye at the old cathedral and talking about spiritual rebirth and all that manure.
Is that what you think?
Ah, get him when he comes out. What kind of cheap line's that?
Well, it's not out of Edwin Drood.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself for a start. Now, other people have lived through what you've lived through, lost as much as you have, and more, and got on doing a decent job, and not giving trouble to some poor, hard-working, underpaid policeman.
Piper, I meant to throw him down there. That was no acting caper.
I know that. If we hadn't come along, you'd really be up the creek now, wouldn't you? Look, go back to what you can really do, will you? Teaching history. You can't do so much harm there.
Thanks.
Also, you might have a bit better influence on the next Joan Kendall you meet. You might be able to stop her selling herself for 300 quid.
You think so?
I wouldn't put my money on it. Oh, come on. I'll buy you a beer. I know how you feel. But it's all in that day's work. Honestly, I promise you.
That was Open Verdict by Lester Powell. Inspector Piper was played by Charles Simon, James Hamer by Eric Allen, Arnold Rowland by William Fox, Roy Shields by David Valler, and Graham Earl by Clifford Rose. Production was by Martin Jenkins.
We present
A play from Wales.
But don't let's kid ourselves. I say don't for a single moment let's kid ourselves as to exactly what the esteemed councillor is fishing for.
Mr. Chairman, I do not intend to stand in this chamber and be insulted by Councillor Traherne or anybody else.
I say we know what he's fishing for. And why? Why do we know? Because he's dangled the same blinking bait before. But for once, I say, we refuse to bite.
On a point of order.
It's all very well, isn't it? All very well. A fair assessment of the situation, he calls it. He has the nerve to call it. Estimates, he calls it. Aesop fables, more like.
Mr. Chairman,
A trip to fairyland, more like.
I demand that remark be struck from the record.
Cordy in Cordland, more like. Except that not even a 5-year-old would give it the time of day.
Mr. Chairman, I really must protest.
Of course you must. Because for once, Mr. Councillor Mostyn Roberts, this chamber sees through you, sees exactly what you're up to, sees that it is simply another attempt to hoodwink this council in general and the finance committee in particular. An attempt to instigate the acceptance of a motion which can be guaranteed to rook the majority, hoodwink the minority, and line the pockets of Mr. Bloody Mostyn Roberts in particular.
Retract! I demand retract!
Here, boys. Give him air.
Meredith Edwards and William Ingram in Stranger at the Gate by William Ingram.
Blast them! Damn and blast them!
Was you knocking, Father?
Knocking? Oh, no, not me. Must have been the woodworm having a field day.
Oh, sorry. I must have been out the back.
What doing?
Oh, just a breath of air. Now, ease up and I'll do your pillows.
Breath of cotton wool in your ears, more like. Or maybe just a case of let the bedridden old devil wait, eh?
What did you want then?
For you to turn that damn noise off. That's what I wanted.
Oh, but it isn't a wireless, Father. Evening service from Bethesda Chapel. Well, we hoped you might hear. Cass just happened to mention to the Reverend it's always been one of your favourites, so he goes and puts it in special.
A sort of grand finale.
Well, we both thought it was very thoughtful of him.
Close the window, girl, for goodness sake. Jesus, bits of shine.
But you always used to like it. I remember you saying to our
So
man...
let's just say there's been a bit of change in the weather forecast, shall we?
Oh, you've hardly touched your tray.
No. Of course, it'd be just like the Reverend to come up with a half-baked idea like that.
I don't...
Oh, with you and Sister Cassie doing your fair share of encouraging, I've no doubt. The Reverend. You can forgive him for being parsimonious, all part of his job. But the man's a parasite and an idiot.
10 years in the mission field, Father.
The cannibals couldn't stomach him, so they pass him on to us.
10 years?
And couldn't even make the grade as a pot boiler.
Aren't you going to look at your get well cards?
Read one, you read them all. Bad poetry and false sentiments. Wonder is nobody's got round to printing a die-quick card. They'd make a fortune.
There was a lovely bunch of gladioli from Councillor and Mrs. Lewis.
Probably the nearest they could get to Aram lilies.
Oh, Dada, I don't know how you could lie there and say such things.
Because they happen to be true, that's why. Get well cards, gladioli. You think I don't know what they're really wishing? If wishes were deeds, you'd already be passing the wreaths out of the window.
Well, if there's nothing else you want.
Sarah, he hasn't come yet.
No, not yet. But there's another train at 8. Cass was thinking...
Well, when he gets here, no keeping him down there naturally till all hours. Send him straight up, do you hear?
Yes, Father.
Wait a minute, girl. Well, girl.
No, only the doctor. Cass is sending him up. Good evening, Doctor.
Sarah, my dear, still playing the lady with a lamp, I see?
Oh, just collecting the tea tray, Doctor.
Mostyn, you old villain. And how are we feeling this evening?
There was a taxi a bit back.
Oh?
Thought it might have been him. Looked a bit like him, but there was a woman as well.
He might have got married.
Not likely.
But he might.
Not likely.
Oh, he hardly touched his tea.
Probably too busy scheming.
I suppose all those pills and medicine affect his appetite.
Was he, asking again?
What?
Was he?
Oh, yes.
And what did he say?
Just asking.
Can't think why you bothered traipsing up to the old stick.
I told Dada there was another train at 8.
And if he's got a hip of the decency, he won't be on it.
But...
Well?
Well, you're just thinking. I mean, would Dada... Well, the way things are...
The way things are have got nothing to do with it, you hear? Nothing.
No, Cass.
Oh, yes, Cass. No, Cass. God, you're as damn soft as what that old stick is.
I only meant...
I know what you meant, all right. If you had your way, you'd be tearing round this very minute. Cakes in the oven and a bunch of forget-me-nots in his room. It's still your very own little room, Justin, just like you left it. All right. But he left it. That's the point.
Oh, it was so long.
The point, Sarah. So if he thinks rolling up with his tail between his legs is going to get him back his warm corner in this kennel, he's got another thing coming.
This tea is still warm. Would you like
Oh,
a cup?
listen while I'm talking to you. Oh, dear, dear. Now, look, Sarah. You don't seem to realize what's behind it all, do you? Maybe you think it's some little game the old stick's playing. Happy families, is it? With a big dollop of the old forgive and forget thrown in. Enemies in life, but reunited at the last. Well, if you think it's as simple as that, you've got another thing coming. Because it doesn't fool me, my girl. And if you've got any sense, you won't let it fool you neither.
Was that a car?
And if you'd use your head, none of this need ever have happened. God knows how he got hold of his address in the first place. But you should never have let the doctor talk you into sending that telegram.
But with you not being here and knowing it was what Dada wanted and the doctor saying it can only be a matter of time now...
The doctor's an outsider. What would he know about it, huh? Cures for some things, I dare say. But there's no answer to our problems in that little black bag.
Perhaps the telegram never got there.
Lost in the post?
Or he might decide not to come. I mean, the way things were between Yestin and Dada when he left...
He didn't leave, damn you! He was thrown out, Sarah. Dada threw him out.
So, maybe I did. Maybe I did. What did it read? What did it read?
Wouldn't mean anything to you if I told you. Now then, make a fist. That's it. Cry, baby. Right. You can roll your sleeve down now. So, you need him back.
I don't need anybody.
All right. A change of heart, though.
You could say that.
Why?
What are you blathering about?
Why? That's what worries me.
Worries?
Well, intrigues, then. The why, the reason, the motive. For the best part of 20 years, you haven't so much as mentioned the boy.
18.
Wouldn't have his name mentioned under the same roof. Didn't even get round to telling him the time and place of his own mother's funeral.
It's none of your damn business. You're supposed to be a doctor, remember, not a father confessor. It's just the way things were.
Oh, you don't have to tell me how things were. But now, suddenly, I know, a change of heart.
So? Well, what would be more natural?
Oh, it's natural, all right. Only unnatural thing is that you didn't get round to patching things up years ago.
Then why are you going on?
Because, to put it quite bluntly, I've never known you capable of a 100% completely natural act in the whole of your life. It implies a certain disregard for the consequences, an area in which I've always found you somewhat lacking. You see, I've known you too long, Mostyn. Known you since you had no backside to your trousers and hauled cold rams up Valdre for a bob a week.
We've come a long way.
A very long way.
I dare say there are some who would reckon a damn sight too far.
Oh, I dare say. Councillor Mostyn Roberts, the self-made man, more of the good things in life than he knows what to do with, a bank account that'll leave most of the others standing, a business that can only make things go from better to best, the living proof that anybody can go anywhere, that a nobody can become number one.
Oh, no, not anybody.
Magnate, magistrate, man of the people, 15 years sterling service as councillor for his ward.
16.
9 of them as chairman of the chamber.
10.
OBE, MBE, not to mention his Civil Defence Medal, second class.
There's been some talk of a knighthood.
I bet there has.
A long way. And maybe even further.
Oh?
Oh, maybe not much further in the practical sense. You wouldn't be making with a bedside manner and sticking blunt needles in my arm 4 times a day if there were much chance of that. But there are other ways, aren't there? Of being remembered, I mean.
The deeds men leave behind them?
Something like that. There'll be the new wing on your blinking cottage hospital for a kick-off.
A boon and a blessing to generations yet unborn.
And so it ruddy well should be. If they were making the cement with gold dust, it couldn't get much steeper.
A drop in the ocean and worth every penny. Besides, think of all the nice things the bigwigs are going to say about you on dedication day. The Mostyn Roberts orthopedic wing and civic gratitude knowing no bounds. Well, they'll probably chuck in a couple of bonuses.
Oh?
Why not? Maybe a nameplate on one of those skyscraper blocks on Windy Heights? Or how about an avenue of elms in Cedar Park? I can just see all those precious little poodles spending their pennies and woofing God bless the governor. Try and get some sleep. I'll look back a bit later. Just popping off to grind down a few more needles. Don't bother the girls. I'll find my own way out.
The deeds men leave behind.
Hello, Yestin! Over here! I have got it right, haven't I? Yestin? Yestin Roberts?
Yes?
Thought it must be. Obvious, my dear Watson. In the first place, your sisters reckon you'd be coming on this one. In the second, you're the only one to get off it. And in the third, when you've slapped someone on the backside and brought him howling into the world, it leaves a lasting impression.
Dr. Marsh.
Well, don't just stand there. Catching our deaths, hop in.
Nothing's happened. I mean, I'm not...
No. Nothing's happened. Blast. Keep meaning to clean the plugs, but I never get round to it. That's my girl. She'll warm up in a minute.
I'm fine. It was good of you to meet me.
Wasn't it, though? Just on the off chance. Usually pop in to see him before they get him bedded down for the night, so I thought I'd stop off and see if you put in an appearance. Besides, it's the very devil getting a hire car on a Sunday. All too busy. Either bastioned at Bethesda, making peace with their maker, or downing pints at the rugby club. Get over, you idiot! But as I say, it was strictly on the off chance. We didn't get a telegram with a time of arrival or anything, so we didn't exactly know when you'd be showing up.
Or if I'd be showing up.
It had crossed my mind.
But not Father's.
Not so as you'd notice.
That's typical, isn't it?
What?
Absolutely ruddy typical, isn't it, though?
All these years without so much as a postcard, yet he thinks when it suits him, all he's got to do is snap his fingers. And Boyo comes running.
Why did you?
What?
Come running.
Good question. I wasn't going to. I swore I wasn't going to. When I got your telegram, the first thing I did was tear it into 100 pieces and pretend it had never happened. Then I spent the best part of an hour jigsawing it together and trying to read between the lines. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to arrive at a true picture. Seriously ill. But how bad is serious?
Pretty serious.
Or just another of his tricks, to get me back, right back under his thumb again.
There's no trick.
No, I didn't really believe there was somehow. So, how long do you think?
Not much longer.
Does he know?
Oh, I've always maintained that in the final stages, the patient usually has a much better idea than the doctor. But you still haven't answered my question. Why did you come?
Heaven only knows. I still can't really believe I have. As far as I was concerned, I thought that particular return ticket had expired a long time ago. Well, not because I give a damn whether he pulls through or not, that's for sure.
I've already told you there's no question of that.
Well, how could I? I don't think I ever really loved him. Not in the real sense. Did any of us? My mother, perhaps, in the very early days. But we watched that die.
You must once have cared.
Cared? A kind of caring, perhaps. But caring can become just some kind of habit, can't it? Pretty meaningless compared with the real thing. In any case, he didn't manage to stifle that by the time we got to the final breakup.
You're still here, so what is there left?
I'm not sure. Curiosity, I suppose. Curiosity and a kind of disbelief. Daft, I know, but the kind of thing one of these white hunters must feel when he lines up some giant thundering bull jumbo in his sights and then pulls the trigger. Watching it fall, seeing all that mass and power and energy, all that threat, become as helpless and threatless as a newborn babe. Oh, yes. Curiosity, certainly. Or I could just be looking for the conventional ending, of course. Couldn't it turn out to be something as corny as that? The full East of Eden, you know that scene right at the end? Beloved kith and kin gathered round the deathbed, confessions and prayers, and forgiveness at the last. Well, why not? Couldn't it turn out to be something as corny and simple as that? Why not?
Why not?
Except that, deep down inside, I know it's none of these things. Some kind of test, I suppose.
Doctor? Doctor? Is that you?
Yes?
Oh, thank God. Come quickly, will you, please? Come quickly.
Some kind of test.
No. No change, I'm afraid. Yes, he's still with him. Of course, the very minute. No, I won't forget. Goodbye, then. Oh, and then thank you for calling. Oh, must be the 10th this morning. Did they wake you?
No, not really. I'm just dozing a bit.
Councillor and Mrs. Treherne.
Ah.
Cass says we ought to take the thing off the hook. But it seems a bit heartless when people are being so kind. Oh, I nearly forgot. They sent their regards.
The Trehernes?
Yes. Why not?
Well, it's a bit of a turn-up, isn't it? I shouldn't have thought they'd remember me, let alone know I was here.
My, you have been away a long time. Well, you know how things are. You've only got to step off the train and the jungle drums start beating. In your case, you were probably a marked man before you even got over the border.
Yes, I probably was.
Well, only the same as with any other stranger. They mean no harm. Just the old curiosity, I suppose. They haven't enough to fill their own lives with.
So they have a very bad habit of spilling over into other people's,
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to go on. Be spouting from Bethesda pulpit next. Just having someone to talk to again, I suppose.
Well, you've always had Cass.
Oh, yes, I've always had Cass. Oh, that coffee must be cold. Let me hot you up. There. Are you warm enough?
Stop cosseting.
Not in a draft, do you?
No, don't close the door. If they call down, we may not hear.
Oh, I suppose you're right, yes. But it's funny not to hear that old stick of his. hammering away up there, all hours of the day and night.
Stick?
His way of letting us know he was needing something, you see. Bang, 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 bang. And any minute expecting to have him down on top of us, 4-poster and all. All hours.
It's no wonder you both look so done in. Now, why on earth didn't you have that nurse from the word go?
Oh, easily said, my boy. We tried, of course. Might as well have saved our breath for the amount of good it did. Strangers, you see. Didn't want them about the place. Rummaging through the drawers and breathing his air and pinching his small change off the bedside table. Oh. But then, you know what the old mule can be like when he sticks his heels in about something?
Yes.
She went on about you, our Yestin, right to the end.
My mum?
Dada wouldn't let her so much as mention your name. But she went on about you all the same. We thought you'd write. Well, Mam and I did anyway. Used to take it in turns to get up early and go through the post before the others came down. We did it for a long time. Then we stopped.
What good could it have done? With the way things were between...
Exactly. What good could it have done? Sleeping dogs lie and count your blessings. Cass always said that. Cass always said.
Well?
Well, indeed, yes. What good? And time passes. And eventually, well, it all gets to seeming unimportant. To you, too.
To you?
Something to be viewed calmly, to talk about, like we're talking about it now, as though it all really happened to somebody else. And sometimes I can nearly fool myself that it did. But then there are others, particularly when I'm sitting down here alone at night, listening to the tick of that old clock, when I've got to face up to the fact that it wasn't somebody else at all. It was to you, Sarah Roberts. The choice was yours, and you made it. And now you must pay the price for every day of your life. You must pay.
The price?
This. All of this. Like a bad habit you couldn't break yourself of. You know, I never forget the day when you left. Escape, you called it. But I couldn't honestly understand what it was you thought you was escaping from. Well, not this, surely. A good home. A respectable home. It wasn't until much later I understood the narrowness of it all. I even tried to do something about it.
Huh?
I answered an advertisement in the Gazette. Oh, pathetic, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, I can't really remember what it was for now. The only important thing at the time was that it would take me away from home. Bookkeeping or maybe a ledger clerk of some kind, I suppose. I know you had to apply in your best copper plate. And I've always been pretty good at that.
What happened, Sarah?
I had my hand on the front door when Cass called out from the back. Wash day, of all things. And would I give a hand with a mangle? And without even thinking about it, I put the case down and went. Just habit, you see. And she never even asked why I was got up like a dog's dinner. Well, and there was no point trying to explain, because she already knew. Had known all along. And when we'd finished, the case was back in its old place on top of the wardrobe. And the birthday cards and the ribbons and the photographs all put neatly back in their drawers. It was never mentioned again. Hardly even thought about.
Till now? Quite a little coincidence, don't you think?
Cass, well, how long have you...
Long enough. More than enough. Well, don't look so sheepish, Yestinbach. You ought to be congratulating yourself. Not 24 hours back in the hive, and you've got the old bees buzzing already.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Quite the little rebel, Rosa. The old order changeth, giving place to new. Is that it? Up with the barricades, is it? But you might have picked on somebody your own size, or our conscript's coming smaller this year.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know damn well what. And don't think you can fool me with that butter wouldn't melt in my mouth look. This is what you've been working for ever since you left and slammed that front door behind you.
What have I been working for, Cass?
Hedging the bets, don't they call it? Playing it both ways.
You know very well Dada isn't going to let you come into anything on your own account, so you reckon you can cut your losses by getting round our Sarah.
Cass.
Not while I'm around to stop you won't.
Oh, I don't know how.
No, you don't. Because as far as Jestinbach is concerned, you've never been able to see further than your nose. Why do you think your blue-eyed boy left in the first place, Sarah? Out of consideration for us?
Jestin had his own life to lead.
Oh, yeah, he had that. And he grabbed the chance with both hands, knowing damned well that we'd always be stuck keeping the home fires burning. But what about our lives? Do you think there's ever been a single moment in all these years, Sarah, when he stopped to give a thought to that?
He gave me no choice, Cass.
Oh, none. You may good and sure of that. No choice. Because you deliberately drove him to the point where he had none. But walking out didn't do anything for us, did it, Justin? You know, I used to spend hours picturing you tucked away in some little bed-sitter somewhere. Like here, was it? Keep out sign on the door, and our mam forever whispering, don't knock, he might be working. Perhaps it's her I should blame. One little scholarship, local boy makes good, and nothing's too good for our Yest. Aye, she never saw till it was too late what a stranger it was turning you into.
I had no quarrel with Ma'am.
Didn't stop you leaving.
There was no love lost between us.
Oh, that's big of you. Well, why should there have been? She treated you like a prize bull in a cow pen. The love, it poured out of her. Even when she was doing something as daft and ordinary as ironing your shirt tails. No, boyo, you weren't easy to replace. Not even he could manage it completely, whatever he tried to make you think. That room of yours, have you been in it since you got back?
No.
Well, it's just the same as on the day you left. But not our mam's orders. His. I have to laugh every time I dust the place. I have to. Regular little museum piece. Even do the guided tour if he could ever find anybody interested enough.
Go on.
Ah, he's up there by the hour. Learn to handle those books as though he really knows what's between the covers. He might even swat up the odd title to impress the boys at the next Rotary meeting.
Dada can look after himself.
All right. Maybe he can and maybe he can't, but there were others. What about Sarah here?
Cass.
What did you do to her? And what are you still doing?
Cass.
Poor simple-minded Sarah. After all these years, she's still going on about being thwarted. And from what? That's what I'd like to know, Justin. I'd really like to. At least when you left, you had yourself to fall back on. Something that people could recognize as you. And even if they didn't or wouldn't, you could always climb back on your pedestal and pretend you were above it all. But what about her?
No, Cass.
All right. Go on, answer. Answer for yourself on your own 2 feet.
Please.
But it's what we've been going on about, isn't it? If I hadn't called you back that day, if you had left as you planned, do you honestly think you'd have lasted 5 minutes?
I don't know, Cass.
No, you don't, but I do. Because I've had to know, Sarah, for both of us for the past 20 years. I know what you're capable of and what you're not. I know the difference between you against yourself and you against the world.
And you, Cass? We seem to have covered everybody but you.
I know what I know. One thing. I know him up there better than our mum and better than any of you. I accept him for what he is, for where he's come from and where he's got to. And maybe I've even got an inkling about what it's cost him to get there.
You know?
Yes. And it doesn't make me feel angry or cheated or better or worse. Just that bit wiser. Older and wiser.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yes, Doctor.
He's asking for you.
Oh, yes, of course.
No, Jestin. He particularly said just Jestin.
Father?
Oh, you. So you finally decided to get here, did you?
Last night. I looked in from time to time, but... Well, anyway, how are you feeling now?
Feeling. How the devil do you think I'm feeling? Oh. Get out, woman. Damn you, get out. Take your starch where it's appreciated.
Thank you, nurse. Yes, then, not too long. I'll be just outside.
Well, what was all that about?
All what?
The rumpus, boy, all that rumpus from downstairs just now. You needn't look so sheepish. I'm a bit past giving you 6 on the backside.
Glad to hear it.
Not that it would take much to guess. Our Cass at it again, I suppose. A premature division of the spoils, is that it? Serving the fatted calf to you may be one thing, but topping the goose that lays the golden egg. Out of the question. Are you ever going to sit down? Or is it all set for the quick getaway?
I'm in no hurry.
It wasn't you I was thinking of. Not so far away, boy. In the light. Where I can see you. You're thinner.
No fatter.
Always was like a rake. Always. Bean sticks in trousers. No spunk. Even now, Cass could give you better than she got. Even now, Cass.
Just built that way.
Used to tell her that.
Ma'am?
Just the way he's built, I used to tell her. Fat lot of good. Wouldn't take my word. Doctors, specialists, quacks. Nothing would do, nothing. Still, you've seen us out all right. You've seen us out. You got rid of that ridiculous beard, then? That beard.
I've got rid of a lot of things.
Everything except the chip, eh? Oh, you don't have to answer that one. Can tell it from here, just by looking at you. Just from the way you perched yourself on the edge of that chair. Tetchy as some old ram tethered to its thicket. Still carrying his blessed cross to Calvary, except that the cross is proving a bit heavier, the gradient a bit steeper than anything he ever imagined.
Now, look,
Oh, I know. I know. One word more, is it? One word more, and I'll be the other side of that door so fast the old devil won't even be able to manage a dying curse. I know.
You shouldn't talk like that.
And you shouldn't be so tetchy. It's an old man's prerogative. You'll come to it soon enough. But it's not turning out as bad as you thought, is it? Not now you're here. Not now it's happening. Me being vulnerable. That's what you was most afraid of. Especially after last night. It's still there in your eye. The last feeble curses of the dying tyrant. That's what you expected. And you'd have had no answer to that. Just a vague feeling of something between pity and disgust. Oh, you needn't bother to lie. If I'd been in your boots, it's what I would have expected. Matter of fact, after last night's little do, I'm even surprising myself. It's the mind, I suppose. All in the mind. Or maybe just the old habit. Well, when you've been on top all your life, the fact that you're about to peg it shouldn't make no difference, should it?
No difference.
And that's why you can sit there and take it, you see. You can take it. Because I can take it. Because...
Oh, easy now. Easy. Here. Go on. Drink.
All right. I'm all right.
Look, don't you think you ought to rest a bit?
And have you wasted the train fare? That would never do. Besides, God knows it's been hard enough keeping tracks of you all these years.
How did you?
You had to eat. Even a bloody martyr has to eat. From the things you said before you slammed out, I reckoned you'd had enough of the so-called business world for the time being. The only other thing you could fall back on was that fiddling teacher's diploma. God knows you threatened us with it enough. From then on, it was simple.
I had thought about going abroad.
Rangoon or Reading, eh? Still, knowing you, I'd have been a fool not to kick off with Reading.
I suppose so.
Married 18 months after you left. Son the following year. Russell Anthony. It would have been nice if you'd named him after me.
You really did your homework.
Just bloody mindedness, of course. But I'd like to have seen him. Was thinking about it. If you'd got the custody when she walked out...
Nobody walked out.
Might even have got round to seeing him all right. But why pass it on to a load of strangers?
Why, indeed?
Why didn't it work out?
Mind your own damn business. If you had the time and I had the inclination, I'd be happy to let you into the grisly details. Maybe I was too young. Maybe it was a mistake to leave one bear garden only to set up another.
Then why did you go?
Oh, there was a fat lot of choice, wasn't there?
It takes two.
To make a quarrel, so that's the current get-out, is it? Beautiful. I must get it embroidered for you for Christmas, and we can hang it above the bed along with God is love and repent ye for the kingdom.
I doubt if I'd be around to appreciate it.
And you can cut out the sob-sister routine, too, because I don't give a cuss whether you're around or not. You hear? I gave up feeling anything as positive years ago.
I see.
All right. I'm sorry, damn you. I'm sorry. Can I open the window? It's as hot as hell in here.
But you still haven't answered my question.
Why? You've got to be joking.
Oh, not the obvious reasons. The not getting on, the quarrels, the fights, the threats. Because in a way, they're only what old Marsh would call the symptoms, aren't they? It's the cause. The thing inside you I've never been able to understand. Even when I tried. And you needn't smile because I did. Believe it or not, at first I did.
Ah, yes. At first. In the beginning. Probably the most beguiling words in the language. Beguiling, full of promise, and as doom-ridden as old boots. Because the simple fact of the matter is simply wanting things to work out, even making allowances, wanting to get on with people, isn't always enough, is it? Oh, you weren't the only one. I found that out since with... Well, let's just say I found it out.
The grisly details.
Exactly.
So what are you left with now?
Don't ask me. I'm still trying to find out.
But all those years you must have been looking in a particular direction.
Not that particular, and more groping than looking.
I'd still like to know.
Just what I am. Myself, I suppose. It's all really there from the start. At the start. In the beginning, as you say. The hard bit is getting it back. Getting it uncluttered. Out in the open again.
Too damned airy-fairy to my way of thinking. Maybe that's why I never cottoned on to you.
The generation gap.
Nothing is fancy. Let's just say I've always been too damn busy trying to fill my stomach to wonder where the crust came from, or whether I was entitled to it, or if there was a more deserving cause. I know. Pathetic, isn't it? Get it down, you boy, before somebody bigger and stronger comes and takes it away. Pathetic. There were reasons. My father and both my brothers had died of the dust by the time I was 14. Cement spitters, they used to call them. Comic, isn't it? Comic. But I still can't put a coal on the fire without thinking how bloody unnecessary it was. There were two sisters, too. Both died in childhood, before they were old enough to get their bonnets through the door. My mother bled to death over the last one. Maybe just to keep her company. Or maybe because we couldn't afford the doctor's fees, and they weren't even giving hemorrhages on tick.
I'm sorry.
But why should you be? Anyway, if it hadn't been for your great-gran, she had a wheel across her forehead an inch wide and nearly as deep, from carrying the coal hodge duty. No cages in a day, just a rope ladder, straight down the shaft. And this coal basket strapped by a leather thong across the forehead. 40 to 50 trips a shift they made, more if they could, because the more climbs they got through, the more chance of keeping their babies' bellies full. Oh, they really tried. Some tried so hard they overloaded the hod, and then forgot all about holding on. It used to hold things up a bit, but the owners didn't complain too much. I mean, there was always another eager mother to take her place, and the hods were well nigh indestructible.
Why are you telling me all this?
I don't know. To explain myself to you, I suppose. To try to. Because I've got my scars too, see? And all this, the way things look, don't make a ha'porth of a difference. There's no inch-deep wheal across my forehead. Nothing as simple. Because by the time I was old enough to start, things had improved. The kids were still down in the dark, but the rope ladder had gone. And most of the mothers were dying either in childbirth or from malnutrition. We'd come a long way. But the scar's there, all right. Still there. And if you think all your fal-de-da Christian socialism and love thy neighbour bit means damn all to me, lad, you got another... Damn all, I say. Damn all.
I'd better call them.
Not yet. No, not yet. Something for you to do.
Sympathy.
Thank you.
Sympathy.
Thank you.
Condolences.
Thank you.
Condolences.
Thank you.
Sympathy and condolences.
Thank you.
Sympathy and condolences.
Thank you. Very much.
All right. Can the body get any peace from you?
Yes, a single to Reading, please.
What?
A single to...
Wait a minute. Now then, what was it you was wanting? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sure. Well, it is Mr. Roberts, isn't it?
Yes.
Mr. Yestin Roberts, son of Mr. Mostyn Roberts?
Yes.
Of course.
I was wondering...
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear, I'm sure. I'm sure we all were. Still in the midst of, as the saying goes.
Thank you.
Fine man, your father. Fine.
I was wondering...
Not that I really knew the gentleman, of course. Well, not really to say that I knew him, if you see what I mean. But a bit of respect costs nothing. That's what I always say. I always say that.
My ticket.
What? Oh, aye. Oh, ticket. Yes. It was Reading, you said?
Yes.
Return, of course.
No, just the one way.
Just that... one way to Reading?
The waiting room is open, is it?
Waiting room? Oh, yes, sir. Not any fire there, though. Not much call, you see. Still, you've got a bit of time to kill, too, so seeing as how you're still in your anguish and all, but dead against the rules, of course, why don't you come in?
The waiting room will be fine.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. Very bloody much, sir.
Heaven help poor sailors on a night like this.
Dr. Marsh, making your rounds?
Just passing, boy, just passing. On the other hand, and for what it's worth, if you don't shift out of that draft, you'll have me thinking we might have fixed up 2 funerals for the price of 1.
I've tried everywhere else.
And?
Heads they win.
Tails you lose. Tell you what, you still got a fair bit of time before the downline's answer to the Flying Scot roars in. Why don't we pop across to the railway tavern
and give the locals the pleasure of seeing a principal mourner knocking it back before the turf had time to settle?
Probably right. Oh, well, just have to make do with a bit of do-it-yourself. Now, should be a flask here somewhere. Eureka! Drop of the old local anesthetic.
No thanks.
Sip up, boy. You can write it off as doctor's orders.
Thanks.
Perfect graveside comforter. No respectable mourner would be found dead without it. Trick is not to get too near the edge. Remember once it... Still, it's another story. Now, move up a bit, then.
Yes.
It went well.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Very well.
Like you say.
We missed you. At the graveside.
I left right after the service. I never did go much for the earth-scattering bit. It makes such an obscene clatter, don't you think? Then, of course, it's probably meant to.
took it for granted I'd see you back at the house.
Plate of ham, pineapple chunks, and who gets the grandfather clock? No, not much in my line either.
A point taken. Never fails to amaze me how quickly the prayers for the dead are replaced by the demands of the living. A house of sorrow to Ali Baba's cave in the twinkling of a gravedigger's shovel. Still,
You were about to say?
Well, only that I should have thought, in this case...
This case? What particular case is that?
You were the only male heir.
Oh, the give and bequeath bit. Long faces, port wine, and crossed fingers under the plush tablecloth,
There was quite a bit in the kitty.
And me without a card in my hand. Come off you, Doctor. You've got to be joking.
Have I?
But, oh, you of all people should have known how he felt on that score.
I know how he used to feel.
What?
Change of heart, perhaps? Why not?
Because he had no heart, that's why not. The only thing that kept him going this long was the idea that by kicking the bucket, he might be doing somebody else a favor. Well, look, I'm not griping. I think the girls deserve every penny they get.
They hoped you'd see it like that.
Hoped? But, well, they must have known they were coming into everything. I mean, it was all signed and sealed.
Oh, it was.
Oh? What's that supposed to mean?
You were with him alone.
So?
For a long time.
So?
So, let's face it, he was more than capable of producing a joker from up his sleeve right till the very last minute.
Another will?
Revoking everything that had gone before.
And just the thing to set the angels laughing?
Exactly. Well?
Like you say, he was capable.
On top of which there was the little matter of the bureau.
Bureau?
Mostyn's bureau, his private bureau. So private, in fact, he even had it moved into the bedroom so that he could keep an eye on it. It was as much as anybody dared to put a duster on it. The keys never left him. Not even during his illness. Always locked. Which is exactly the way it was when I left you together. Your move.
Stupid of me. I should have returned the key before calling. I suppose I was still hoping you hadn't noticed.
Whatever gave you the impression I had?
You mean... Your talents are wasted, Doctor.
We try.
All right, there was something. Just before the end, something he wanted me to take care of. Oh, not what you're thinking. No revoking, no last-minute upsets about where the lolly was going, so you could have saved yourself the trouble.
You did say there was something.
The other half, I suppose you might call it. You got the will. I got the testament bit.
Testament?
Isn't that what they call it? The bit that happens after all the worldly goods have been disposed of. Sort of declaration of intent. They used to go in for it quite a bit in the old days, along with the deathbed blessing, or curse, as the case may be. It's just out of interest I looked it up. Testament. A statement of proof or confirmation. That's what it said. And that's just about what it amounted to.
Confirmation? Of what?
Of what I'd known him for right from the start. The real Mostyn. The thing that lurked behind the facade of respectability, the sham, the trappings, all there in his own fair hand. Black on white. The skullduggery, the crookery, the double dealings, the things that really made him tick. More than a testament. A regular book of revelations. Names, dates, places, people he'd conned, people he'd persuaded, people who'd simply jumped the same bandwagon because of what they could get out of it.
But why would he want to...
Tell me, of all people? Oh, not the confession is good for the soul routine, if that's what you're thinking. But it's not too difficult to understand, is it? The ship is sinking, so at least let's seal the portholes so the rats can't escape. Well, somebody had to inherit the job. Who better? He probably saw me as some latter-day Pied Piper, only too happy to tootle the flute he'd so thoughtfully put at my disposal. A gigantic purge to rid the community of vermin. So tootle your flute, Piper, and sweep the hypocrisy and cant right back into the sewer where it belongs. All courtesy of Councillor Mostyn William Roberts, OBE.
But isn't that what you've always wanted?
I'd always thought so. It was certainly what he gambled on. It was certainly why I left.
And now?
I don't know. Maybe I've changed. Or maybe the lamb cried in the wilderness so long it lost its voice. Or maybe...
Yes?
Maybe confirmation, when it comes, turns out to be just the teeniest, weeniest bit of an anticlimax.
Where is this document now?
You needn't look so anxious, Doctor. No delayed revelations, not even the odd spot of blackmail on the side.
Where?
He still has it.
I don't follow what you mean.
I gave it back. Just before they screwed the lid down. A final moment of parting. What could be simpler? Besides, he was always a great one for carrying his credentials. It's funny to think of all those po-faced bigwigs at the graveside with a veritable Vesuvius under their feet. Give me a hand with the cases, will you?
Should be opening the new hospital wing in a couple of weeks.
So you were saying?
There's to be a bust in the entrance hall.
Ah, he'd have liked that.
Not much like him. Fact is, they farmed it out to some relative of one of the governors. Nephew, I think. Too much hair. Sort of cross between Lloyd George and Dr. Schweitzer.
He'd have liked that even better.
Yes, Tim. What shall I tell Cass?
You'll think of something. Besides, do you honestly think it would make any difference?
Remarks, and prior to the unveiling, the minister referred to the deceased as not only a man of generosity and vision, but a shining light whose untimely passing made the community he'd loved a darker place in which to live. Among those present at the ceremony were Councillor and Mrs. J.R. Davis, Councillor and Mr.
place in which to live.
Did you say something, Cass?
No, just thinking.
Councillor and Mrs. T. Lewis, Councillor and Mrs. Petra Hearn, Councillor and Mrs. W.S. Jones, Chairman of the Board of Governors, H.P. Wilkins and Mrs. Wilkins, Chairman of the Finance Committee, P.R. Roberts, Chairman of the Mostyn Roberts Appeal Fund, Mrs. W.O. Abrams, Secretary of the Mostyn Roberts Appeal Fund.
Keep the spits a shine with a clear, pure light, like a little candle burning in the night. In this world of darkness, we must shine. You in your small corner, and I in mine.
That was Stranger at the Gate by William Ingram. Dr. Marsh was played by Windsor Davis. Mostyn Roberts by Meredith Edwards. His daughters, Sarah and Cass, by Christine Pollen and Elizabeth Morgan. And his son, Yestin, by William Ingram. Production was by Betty Davis.
Hey, be ready with some slack, will you? How you doing? There's a chalk stone I'm making for. It's magnificent up here. It's like climbing on the balcony of heaven. Come on, boys. Just one long stretch. Now both hands on the chalk stone. One boot jammed in the crack. Then the other. Free climbing now. I can hear the Valkyries! Oh!
We present a story of climbers and climbing by Jim Andrew, set in Grizedale in the heart of the English Lake District. The Pit of the Charles.
Have to watch the bends on these moorland roads, even when one knows them. Hey, hey! Out of the way! Oh, damn fool sheep. Yeah, these picnickers, you know, stop by the side of the road and leave scraps. That's what tempts them down from the hillside.
Oh.
They're getting stiff, Chris.
Oh, yes, a little.
Yeah, it's been a long drive from Oxford. Yes, indeed it has. Hello. Someone's in a hurry.
Hey, up. Hey, nice bit of gear there, sir. Hey, do well as a bedstead.
Well, what you done straight it, mister, you'll have the RSPCA on you.
Hooligans.
See the way they took that bend. It's a wonder they didn't miss the bridge and find themselves in the water.
It's a pity. A cold ducking might have done them a power of good. Wash some of the nonsense out of their greasy paws.
Climbers, I think. They had ropes with them.
Climbers of a sort. The wrong sort. I'm sorry to say that even up here we're getting plagued by the leather jacket brigade. Any young fool nowadays can obtain himself one of those noisy machines on the hire purchase and turn himself loose on our countryside.
It's pretty grand country at that. I can see why you choose to live here, sir.
Yes, can't get back to the hills too soon once the term's over. You know, I've climbed mountains the world over, but my first love is for our English hills. And Grizedale, Yorkshire limestone uplands, the Lakeland fells, and you'll find plenty of archaeological hunting ground. There have been settlements in Grizedale since Paleolithic times, and we're still pretty prehistoric.
It's very kind of you to invite me along like this, sir. I do.
No nonsense. It's kind of you to accept an invitation from an old fogey. A bit of youthful company may stay my tottering progress into decrepit old age.
But you don't live alone in Grizedale, do you? I understood
Oh,
that.
yeah, there's my daughter, of course. Like her old man, loves the hills. I brought her up that way. She's a teacher. Art. Modern stuff, you know, but she's a good girl. She came up a couple of days ago. Their term finished before ours. We're to meet her in the pub. I garage Alberta here in the village. The track up to the cottage will play havoc with her antique suspension. We got a Land Rover beetling back and forth. Do you know Brenda, by the way?
Brenda? Yes, we met briefly. Should have told Dad back there where he's going. It's about 1,700,000 miles to Brighton. He'll never make it in this lifetime.
Well, you've some room to talk. What are you doing, Lens, in the same stakes or what? They've been open half an hour, you know. We're losing valuable drinking time. Get a move on, can you?
I'm giving it all she's got. It's the weight of all the iron pegs and top number 10 hard mountaineers gear in the pannier slowing it up. And you on the back, you big fat cow.
Watch it.
Anyway, that was the last cowing hill. We've got gravity on our side now and Grizedale straight ahead. So I hope you've got your choppers well closed in.
Hey, bombs away! Away, away with rum by gum, with rum by gum, with rum by gum. Away, away with rum by gum. That's the song of the Salvation Army.
Well, this place looked like being the lot as far as the nightlife's concerned. Yeah. Oh, you feel better now, kid? Well, let's hope the brew's up to the chintzy curtains.
Look at the place. Hey, do you reckon we'd better take our boots off?
Ah, come on. Hey, you should take your head off, mate. You'll do the low beams an injury.
Ah, go away.
Oh! Warned you. You should have kept your crash helmet on. Oh, hello there, then.
Good evening, sir.
Give us 2 pints of your best draft, please, love, and a pair of sunglasses.
I beg your pardon?
But it's all the gleaming brass and copper. Oh, no, forget it. I was dazzled by this young lady's beauty for a second, but I'll cope. You have a drink, love?
I have one, thank you.
Well, there's nothing to stop you having another, is there? What is it? Oh, scotch.
You're wasting your time. I'm waiting to meet someone.
Oh, with my luck, I should have known. I was going to get you a double, then. You settled for a single and call it quits.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Mrs... Hey, where is she, then?
She's gone to the cellar to draw your beer.
Do you hear that, Seth? We haven't got beer engines out here yet. Hey, and Mrs., bring us 2 more of the same while you're down there. Save your legs. Seth, take that number 10 hard man face off. I want you to meet a young lady friend of mine. What did you say your name was again, love?
I didn't. But it's Brenda. Hello, sir.
Hiya.
He doesn't say much, doesn't Seth. He's been very badly brought up, you see. He's terribly foul-mouthed. So when we're in company, I do the talking for both of us. He'd be liable to forget himself and say something horrible like elephant dung. So watch it, Seth, because she's very pucker, this one.
Thank you.
He spits too. Oh, here we are, love.
4 pints of draft beer, sir. It was 4, sir.
Yeah. Oh, and a small whiskey, please.
Oh, small whiskey.
You have one yourself, love?
No, thank you, sir. That'll be 9 and 8pence.
Here you are. I'm sorry about your little dog. Fond of him, were you?
I beg your pardon?
You must have thought an awful lot about him to put his head up over the mantelpiece.
That's a fox, sir.
Oh. Somebody shot him, did they?
No, sir. Foxes aren't shot.
Hunted him, then? Hounds and all that, what,
Yes, sir.
Oh, they certainly frightened the poor little fellow. He must have been running at a fair belt when he hit that chimney back.
Cheers.
Cheers. Do you reckon she fancies me, madam?
Well, I wouldn't say you'd made a conquest.
No? Well, you can't win every time. Did you play darts?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
Come on, see you round the board.
I'd love to, but I told you I'm meeting someone.
You staying in Grisdale?
Yes.
Another time, then?
Well, yes, certainly.
When, tomorrow? Next day?
I can't really say for certain. I'm sure we'll run across each other.
Oh, you'll be around Grisdale for a good bit, then?
Yes, my home's here.
Ah, get away. Them rustic truths don't fool me. You're not a farmer's daughter. I can't see you mucking out of shipping.
I work in London. I just spend my holidays here.
Oh, that's more like it. What's your line, then?
I'm an artist. Well, I teach at training college.
Yeah. About 30. Well, we'll say late 20s, for good manners' sake. Not wed. Living in the big city. You have a gay time, dear.
Is that meant to be offensive?
Just a statement of fact. Me, I'm not insecure enough to feel the need to be offensive. Now, Seth here, he's different again. I told you he was very badly brought up. He's so insecure he belts people.
I'll lay off or I'll belt you.
See what I mean? He even picks on his mates. I say, Seth, do stop being beastly. Let's kiss and make up, shall we?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Now, young
I'll go.
men.
I'll look out.
Hey, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hey, Seth, behave yourself. Showing me up again. I'd much rather kiss you, actually. Would that make us mates?
Thank you for the drink.
Oh, cool, yes. Very cool.
Oh, please. Daddy, how marvellous to see you.
Hello, my dear. How's my favourite girl?
What sort of a journey have you had from Oxford?
Oh, fine, fine. Hood down all the way. Now, Berta puffed a bit on some of the hills, getting past it, like a driver.
No, never.
She can still make it, though. Bert, how are you, dear?
Much better for seeing you, of course. Oh.
Hello.
Christopherson. Yeah, I'm sorry, I quite forgot. Christopherson, my daughter Brenda. I can't remember now whether you said you'd met.
Briefly.
Yes, good. Well, there's no need to stand on further ceremony in that case. We'll get straight to priorities. It's been a long drive, and I want to wrap myself round a tall glass of Mrs. Hawkes's excellent ale. I dare say you'll feel the same, eh, Christopherson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Well, if you'll be so kind as to make way, young man.
Oh, Squire. Come on, Seth, make with the elbow room for the gentleman.
2 glasses of your excellent ale, Mrs. Hawkes, if you please.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hello, Bren.
What the hell do you mean by coming here?
Excuse me. Mind your backs, mates. This way, is it?
Yes, in the yard.
Stop.
What are you doing here?
Well, didn't the professor, your father tell you?
He said he'd invited a guest, but he didn't say who. Just someone from the college. But you?
What's the matter? I thought you'd be pleased.
Anything for you, dear?
No, thank you, Daddy. I had one while I was waiting for you. I don't want another.
Had your ration, eh? Thank you, Mrs. Hawkes.
Thank you, Professor.
Well, here we are, Christopherson.
Thank you, sir. Well, all the best.
Oh, cheers. Christopherson, you know, is an archaeologist. However, he's agreed to take a little time from grubbing after arrowheads to be initiated into the mysteries of mountain craft. Eh, young man?
Mr. Christopherson, you must be ever so firm with him. Otherwise, he'll have you out climbing with him every day. Don't allow yourself to be bullied.
Oh, come now, I'm not that bad, am I, young man? Have I tried to bully or cajole you?
Well, on the drive up, sir, you did seem determined to convert me.
Convert? Yeah, I suppose that is the word for it. I don't want to sound like a mystic, no bull, as they say, but mountaineering is something of a religion as well as a sport. To me, anyway. On a high ridge or a rock face, when one relies solely on one's agility and experience, and the strength and experience of one's companions, of course, the mind is opened as well as the body exercised.
Watch your backs. Oh, excuse me, Squire.
What?
Hey, what have you been doing then?
My daughter, you know, has been climbing since she could barely walk. She must have been one of the youngest persons to ascend Mont Blanc. Oh, she was just 3. The guide and I remember, took turns carrying her papoose fashion in a specially constructed rucksack.
She should have her name put on the back of a beer mat.
I beg your pardon?
You never noticed? They put records on them. You know, world's longest ski jump, fastest talker, first man to go over Niagara Falls in an ice cream carton.
I met this gentleman whilst I was waiting for you, Daddy.
Oh, really?
Then I've been discourteous. I failed to offer the young gentleman a drink. What's your pleasure, sir?
Oh, well, I can always sup a pint of bitter.
I gather from your equipment that you and your companion intend to do some mountaineering.
Yeah, we're planning to have a go.
One sees so many young men with their new nylon ropes. They all hope to run before they can walk. I hope you aren't the foolhardy sort.
Foolhardy? Oh, not us, Jack.
I trust you don't climb as recklessly as you drive that big motorcycle, then. I would suggest that the speed at which you were taking the bends on the road today left you no margin of safety.
Well, it all depends on whether you know what you're doing, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, when it comes to mountaineering, just remember there'll always be more sheep than tigers. Well, my dear, Christopherson, if you're ready.
Yes, Daddy.
Oh, I was going to buy you a drink, young man. Do you mind ordering yourself? I think this should cover it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, by the way, I should avoid climbing in adverse conditions in those continental boots you're wearing. Rubber soles are fine in the Alps where the rock is clean, but the vegetation that abounds on our homeland hills means that when wet, the crags become treacherously greasy.
Oh, I'm strictly a fair weather man myself.
Good. Good night, Mrs. Hawkes.
Oh, good night, sir.
Night. Night. Have a nice walk tomorrow. And mind you don't get lost. Our homeland hills can become treacherously deceptive if the mist comes down on an empty stomach.
Yeah, walk over a cliff, will you? Stupid melt.
And Seth, watch it. Hey, don't you know who he is? Everest man, no less. Sheridan Penlove, expeditions of 37 and 46. Real number 10 hard man.
No wonder they didn't get up.
Nah, don't be like that. He was a good man in his day. Pioneered some of the last great classic routes in the Alps. Pretty Eiger-like, but, well, fair for them.
Hey, Everest 46. Wasn't that the time only half of them came back?
Yeah, well, they didn't know what they were doing, did they? Hey, put 5 bob to this and let's have some more ale on. I think with a bit of luck tonight, we might get a second gallon in before the towel goes up. First day in the hills and all that, what?
That was excellent, excellent. Well, and now I think to crown the feast, the wine. Hock, I think. Sweet and cool. One advantage of living in a converted farmhouse such as this is that the old scullery provides an admirable cellar.
Shall I get it?
No, dear, I'll go. I'll go. If you'll excuse me, young man.
Of course, sir.
Brenda.
Please, I want to clear these things away.
Brenda.
Chris, please. Daddy will be back in a moment.
What's the matter with you? I thought you'd be pleased to see me.
Well, I'm not. Now, please let me go. Thank you.
I don't understand you. When I last saw you in London...
That was in London. We're not in London now.
Wren, what's gone wrong? I knew there was something the matter when you wrote.
What I said in my note was true. I was busy. It was the end of term. You spoiled everything by coming here. Whatever pretext you use is...
There was no pretext involved. I am an archaeologist, you know, and I do want to do some field work. So when your father invited me along here, I naturally jumped at the chance to come and see you during the vac. But I would have come anyway.
Well, that's all right then. I'd have hated you to have had a wasted journey.
Brenda, what suddenly got into you?
Oh, nothing suddenly got into me. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm upset, that's all. I can't explain now.
Brenda!
Shh!
Here we are.
I'll put another log on the fire.
Yes, a log. Even in summer, there's nothing like an open fire. Rather degenerate, I suppose.
Oh, I don't know, sir. I mean, if you think of it as an art form, a sort of visual thing, you know, sculpture in flame, I mean, aesthetically, it's... well, as opposed to a source of warmth, that is, I mean, rather as a picture, you know?
Yes. Yes, well, I dare say Brenda would have more thoughts about that. She's the artist. Well, dear.
I'm going to do the washing up. I don't want to leave these dishes for Mrs. Ferguson in the morning. I'll leave you two to draw.
Not doubting that the old man will be doing most of it. That's what you mean, eh?
Good night.
Good night, dear.
Good night, Mr. Christopherson.
Good night.
Nothing like a yarn by the fireside. Here.
Thank you.
No, get in the chimney corner there. No, sling those maps on the floor.
Oh, right.
I remember that was old Split Price Jones's favorite seat. We were in the high Andes together once, Bolivia, taming a few peaks.
The Pit of the Trolls, situated at the head of Grisdale. This remarkable and awesome geological fault is one of England's more impressive natural phenomena. The pit was once a cavern, hollowed out over a period of millions of years by the waters of Grisbeck, until at last the roof collapsed, causing the formation of the present Grim Gorge. With its vast 500-foot walls of overhanging brittle and unscalable limestone. That's what the guidebook says.
It looks grotty.
We've seen grot here.
We're going to climb it then?
We're going to climb it.
Oh, I could feel a lot better if I hadn't had last night's bellyful.
Soon sweat that out of you. Come on then, me old butty. Ump up some of this gear.
Aye. Oh, God, I got an head like Birkenhead.
Wait until you get up there, mate. You'll soon clear it. Clinging on a rock face, relying solely on your own house, your father, and all that bull. It'll open your mind for you and let some fresh air in. Can't let anything out. Hey, get the kinks out of that rope, will you? The first 100 feet will free climb. I'm going to make for that holly tree 60 foot up. Should be able to fix a runner on it. And then I'll try to work my way left to the ledge under the first overhang. Looks nice and cosy. You right?
Right.
Hey, did I ever tell you about that Judy I went to Skye with?
Oh, Dark Beast.
Aye. Well, when we went to Skye, I just met her up at Wall End. She was with a crowd from some teacher training college, you know. Dead loads, a lot of them. Oh, she was different again, Mom. She was a cuts from the rest of them, Mom. They talk about trunking, mate. You don't know what it is.
Oh, and you've seen that about every bird you meet, you.
Ah, I'm right, I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, I'll believe you, but thousands wouldn't. What about her?
Oh, nothing. Why, it's just that this Brenda Penlove bird reminds me of her, that's all.
Oh, your nasty little mind's working overtime again, is it? I thought you were tossing and turning last night. You're a bad one, you are.
That was bad ale, mate, keeping me awake. The bird who'll keep me from a kip hasn't been born yet. Oh, no, for crying out loud.
What's up, then?
Did I say I was putting a runner in this holly tree? Merry Christmas. Hey, mind your head. Roll on.
Oh, what's it? You're sending all the grit out of me here, you filthy swine.
So you think you have the problems in my life? Oh, you should be up here, mate. Talk about Jossie. Yodeloo. I try and keep my spirits up. Hey, look out below!
Hey! What are you doing up there, for heaven's sake?
Oh, dropping blue lights. Hey, don't pull on that rope. You're not bell ringing, you know. You'll have me off.
You stand still and get bombarded, do you?
Oh, God, where's your self-control? That's better. It's not like having a nice iron peg to fasten yourself onto for giving you that sense of security. I say. What's green all over with lots of little cogwheels?
Moody, hello, look.
No, a garage. I was lying about the little cogwheels.
Oh, good.
So the intrepid hero claws his laborious way up another 3 feet of virgin rock, painfully conquering the relentless mountain. Hello! No more crack! Drilling from now on, boyo!
Thought you said this first bit would be easy.
You know what thought did? Hey, knock.
Who's there?
Teresa!
Teresa who?
There's an old mill by the stream. Nelly. Oh, God, you know we're going to be days drilling this pitch.
Now, steady, Christopherson. Now, mind how you go on those smooth leather soles just here. This path's like a skating rink in parts.
I'm taking care, sir.
Oh, what? Oh. All right?
Yeah. Ooh. Yes, it's worse than I thought.
Yes, it's the spray from the stream. Limestone can be a bit dodgy when it's wet. Look, keep hold of my arm.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, we'll have to fit you out with a pair of good nailed boots. There's a chap in the village who'll fix you up. Good man, specializes in mountain boots. Well, it'll be over the worst of it once we get past this waterfall. Here we are.
Oh, thanks. I must say, you keep yourself pretty fit, sir.
Not bad for an old crock past 50, eh? Yes, I can still race many a man half my age to the top of Great Gable and not be short of breath. Yeah. Oh, well, this is as far as we're going. Well, over yonder. What do you think of that?
That's a splendid sight.
Yeah, Pit of the Trolls. Impressive, eh?
Oh, it's magnificent.
And we're half a mile away. You should see it close up. 500 feet sheer where it's not overhanging.
That's terrific.
Yeah, that's what Wordsworth thought. Terrific as the lair where the young lions crouch.
It makes one dizzy just to look at it. I say, sir, I hope you won't expect me to scramble up there with you.
Oh, there speaks the mountain tyro. No one climbs there. Far too dangerous and quite impossible. Limestone, you see. Experienced climbers leave it strictly alone. The Dales folk maintain that Troll King claims at least one victim every year.
Troll King? He's a long way from home, isn't he?
Oh, Scandinavia, you mean? Oh, yes. Wordsworth imported him, complete with oozing hair and mineral crown. Actually, Wordsworth never visited Grisdale and only knew the cliff from pictures. But he added to the local folklore. There are still elderly Dales folk who'll tell you the place is haunted.
Well, you could have fooled me. It's certainly a fearsome-looking place.
Dead. Oh, well, I've paid my homage. If you're ready, we'll make tracks. I dare say you'll be ready for breakfast by the time we've made our way back.
Yes, sir, I'll say.
Well, get your skates on, then.
Yes. Okay.
Now, careful now, that tricky bit again.
Right.
Just over here.
Whoa. Roll on Christmas. And it must be getting close. Seem to be months on this job.
3 days.
Last night in my bug bag, I was dreaming I had my little hammer in my hand.
You'll die with the little hammer in your hand, mate.
Oh, you do look little down there. Hey, I'm off the rope.
Oh, about 10 foot.
Oh, right. Well, I'll bring you up then. There's a crack just above me. If you stand on my shoulders, you should be able to reach it and put a peg in, right?
Right. Slack.
All right, take your time. There's no hurry. After damn near 3 days, you needn't rush yourself.
Oh, hello. Fancy meeting you here.
Small world, isn't it?
Yeah, well, let's get past then. Yeah, I hope this boat will hold us both. It's a long way down there and there's some big spiky rocks at the bottom.
Then the quicker you get the peg in, the better. Hey, stop knocking about.
All right, keep you there on. It's a long way stretch. Keep flaming still, will you?
Watch what you do with your big feet, then. I don't want my teeth kicked out.
Hell's bells! Hey. Keep still!
You what? You keep still when somebody's dropping beatings on your head.
Yeah, well, if you kept still in the first place, I would never have dropped it. Hey, roll on, the boat's shifting, I felt it move.
Oh, hurry up, then.
Oh, I'll give us some slack. Oh, well, I feel a damn sight safer now.
Yeah. Hey, drop us a fag, will you?
Well, here, catch.
Ta. You comfy?
Yeah.
Hey, Baloo, aren't we high up here? Hey, I can see ever so far.
Right across to the other side of Dale, where the little men...
What are you? If you slip, the rope won't let you fall.
Of course.
Now, slowly, select your best holds, and remember, always keep 3 points of contact with the rock. Move only either 1 foot or 1 hand at a time.
Right.
And never make a move that you can't reverse. Now, steady. Yeah, that's it. Now, select another handle.
Yes.
Right here. That's it. Good lad.
Oh, it's hard work.
That's because you're making hard work of it. Right, dear?
Okay.
Now, watch Brenda now.
Yes.
You see how she keeps well out from the rock?
Oh, yes.
All her weight on her legs,
Yes, I
just
see.
using her hands for balance.
Uh-huh.
Now, you wouldn't climb a flight of stairs by lying on your tummy and dragging yourself up by the rods, would you? Yet, in effect, that's exactly what you were doing. Apart from taking most of the strain on your arms, instead of the sturdier leg muscles, you had the friction of your body against the rock to contend with.
Oh.
No wonder you found it hard going. But you didn't do too badly. You'll soon learn. Craft is more important than strength in mountaineering. Ah, well done, dear.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, are you ready?
Yes, Daddy.
Right, off we go. Now, this pitch is slightly different. Watch how I use the vertical cracks to keep my balance by means of the side holds. Not unlike the way a koala bear climbs a tree.
Bren, your attitude these last few days since I've been here.
Oh, please, Chris, not now.
But we must at least talk, surely.
This isn't the time.
Well, it might be the only time I'll have. You've been pretty successfully avoiding
I have
me.
not been avoiding you. I've just been busy. I thought you'd come up here to dig. But we've seen each other at mealtimes and heaven knows most
But
evenings.
you know what I mean. You made damn sure that we're never alone together, and I must talk to
Well,
you.
not now, Chris. Watch Daddy. You'll have to follow him in a minute.
When then?
Oh, in the pub this evening. We'll talk then if we must.
Next, dear.
Right, Daddy?
That's 6 change, sir.
Thank you.
Been up the mountains today, have you?
Yes.
Dangerous game, I always say. Although I don't suppose you could be in safer hands than with the professor.
Oh, no.
Very experienced he is. Been up mountains all over the world. Written books, too. Whenever there's an accident in the valley, he always takes charge.
Oh, yes, he obviously knows his stuff.
But what I can never understand is how you get the rope up first. Oh, excuse me, yes?
Usual 4 pints, please, love. Hey, up, Whack, how's it going then?
Oh, fine, thanks. Excuse me.
Hey, how about Guido and his new big boots and natty breeks then?
He looks like a great long thing can own me, doesn't he?
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. Now, tell me what's got into you. We seem... Well, until I came here in London...
Look, you're a nice boy, Chris. I like you a lot. When I first met you at that party, I thought... Well, I was lonely.
And that was all.
You caught me on the rebound, Chris. I'm sorry.
And all those other times you had me chasing down to London?
But I thought things might work out. At first I did. I wanted them to, Chris. Then when I knew they wouldn't, I tried to tell you, but I didn't have the guts, I suppose.
Can't we try again?
It's no use, Chris.
I'm not smart enough for you, that's it, isn't it? I'm not sophisticated like that gang you knock around with in London. I don't paint pictures, and most of those I see are too deep for me. I don't write mystical plays or fragments of unfinished novels. I'm not one of your precious
Look, Chris,
genii.
you're a sweet boy.
But what sort of an arty genius was he then? What thing did he have which I haven't?
He was a second-hand car salesman, as a matter of fact. Not any kind of genius. Just the opposite. And as for being smart and sophisticated, well, he thought he was that, too. And he did have the veneer, the right clothes, the right gadgets. But essentially, he was just vulgar, as Daddy would put it. Have you ever read any of Daddy's books?
Oh, of course, they're pretty well standard.
Oh, no, not his literary tomes, or his travel books. I mean, his novels. But you wouldn't know them. He writes under a pen name. They're thrillers, set in mountains, of course. Where else? Smuggling on the Swiss-Italian border. Spies in the Austrian Tyrol. But apart from the mountain location, they have one other thing in common. The villain is always vulgar. On the surface, he might be suave, but underneath, he's never a gentleman. It's quite ridiculous. In one of Daddy's books, you always know who done it. He gives himself away in chapter 3. How? When he kisses the heroine, which he always does, I forgot to tell you he's always too good-looking, he kisses her with his mouth open and he uses his tongue. The heroine's always horrified, and Daddy really believes he's written an outrageous scene.
What are you telling me?
I'm not one of those heroines, Chris.
I know that.
No, you don't. You don't understand at all. What I'm trying to tell you is that what happened between us, it's not anything special. Not to me. You were just an attractive boy who found me attractive. And from then on, things just developed naturally to their logical conclusion.
That's all?
That's all. Yes, that is all. Not to you, perhaps. But to me, yes. Look, I'm sorry. But that's the way I am. Now, please stop following me around all cow-eyed.
Brenda!
Oh, no more, Chris, please. I'm going. Alone. Daddy, I'll see you later.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Damn.
Whiskey, please, a double.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hello.
Oh, where are you off?
Oh, I've got a darts match on, haven't I? Wouldn't want to see me back down on a challenge now, would you?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, expect me when you see me.
Look, please leave me alone. I told you...
What?
Oh, I'm awfully sorry.
Oh, I do beg your pardon, missus. It was just the same with this big fella. Just went up to him polite like, and before I knew it, he had me against the wall of the carsey. Him and his brother, from the pool they was, putting the nut in, pecking away like a pair of hens they was.
I'm sorry, I thought it was someone else.
Like, a friend, perhaps? They, have a little gadget, sort of clocks that add up the numbers for you.
Huh?
In that pub on Settle High Street. Remember the game of darts we was going to have? It's still on, is it, eh?
Well, yes, but
Quarter of an hour on the bike. You're wearing an anorak, so you won't freeze today. Come on, it's over this way. Hey, Seth. Seth, wake up, will you?
What?
Wake up, you fat idle pig.
What do you want?
Would you like to buy a battleship?
Oh, get lost, will you? What time is it?
Oh, around 12. Yeah, let's get this Primus going. Hey, do you want to brew a coffee?
Huh? Oh, no, it'll have me up. Hey, you can give us a fag, though.
Oh, here.
Sir.
You sure you don't want a cup of coffee?
Positive, I told you.
And I can't sell you a battleship.
No!
You don't want much out of life, do you?
Look, I'd like to get some kip.
You know, the trouble with you is that you're an animal. You've got no appreciation of the finer things of life. Kip. Hey, wouldn't you rather sit up all night discussing the Divine Comedy?
Ah, Divine God's wallop.
Or we could watch the top of Helvellyn discussing philosophy by moonlight. We'd be on the summit by dawn.
Oh, you're a nutter.
Dawn on Helvellyn. The early sun dispelling the writhing pockets of mist in the gullies. We could run down the mountainside, tumbling over scree waist deep in the fresh green bracken, to cleanse ourselves in the icy waters of the tarn.
Yeah, you catch double pneumonia, man.
Never. All pucker mountaineers do it all the time. You just haven't been reading the right books. It tones up the soul.
Bull.
I'm talking poetry. Oh, you're just not with it,
Look,
are
I
you?
don't want to be with it. And I'll tell you something for nothing, mate. You want to lay off trunking if it's going to leave you this way. Look, now, can I get back to Kip?
Hey, Seth, you sure you won't have some coffee?
No.
I still can't sell you that battleship.
Oh, get Freemason, will you?
Get Freemason? Hey, I like that. Original turn of phrase there. Yes, there's hope for you, yes. Get
Look,
Freemason.
if you don't belt up, I'm going to belt you one.
Oh, where you two turn nasty when you're a bit short of Kip. You're worse than my wife.
Oh, shut up. Drink your coffee, will you, and crawl into your stinking pit and let's get some feather.
I wish I had a biscuit to go with this coffee.
Shut up.
Ah, well, here we are then. You okay?
Yes, thank you.
And one of these nights, we'll get that game of darts in. You're as the fresh wind newly bringing dance steps to the old year's lying leaves, or like the sudden April warmth awakening green buds upon the dead and barren trees.
What?
Or as the sun gives gold to each new day, burnishing the hilltop crowns of bracken, so do you enrich all earth's delights, and like the moon with silver cools the nights.
You quoting poetry?
Why not?
More. I like it.
Well, I haven't written any more yet.
You didn't.
What?
Write it.
I did. On the back of a ciggy packet the other night.
Don, you are a strange person. Sometimes when you're in the pub, for instance, or when there's anyone around, you're so loud-mouthed and coarse and brutal. Then these last few nights up at the tarn, you've been, well, so tender. Now you write poetry. What are you, Don?
A nutter.
I know. You're an Elizabethan, a noisy, brash, flamboyant pirate who take a rest from pillage and blood and rape to write a sonnet.
And you're a romantic. I'm no Elizabethan, I'm not anything.
Yes, you are. My own Renaissance Viking.
Oh. Perhaps we could discuss it over a cup of coffee, eh?
I'm sorry, Don, but it's after 11 and I don't think...
Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll be seeing you then.
Don?
Give us a kiss, then.
Oh, Don, I would like to ask you in. You know I would. But it is after 11.
Okay, forget it. I'll see you, love.
Don, be careful on that cliff.
Yeah, sure.
Bye.
See you.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, dear.
You're up late?
Jed from the farm was round. You're not exactly an early bird yourself. You've been out quite late for the last few nights. Ever since a certain young man got himself into an amiable mood and had to be helped home. Since when, he's been alternately laconic and profusely apologetic. He's suffered a rebuff, I should say. I should certainly say that.
Yes.
Now, you want to tell me about it?
There's nothing much to tell, Daddy, really. Oh, you know how it is.
Well, did you let him down gently?
As gently as I could.
But put him firmly in his place. No nonsense, eh? That's the girl. Oh, yes, Christopherson's a decent enough bod in his way. I like him, or I wouldn't have invited him up here. But he's not right for you, not by a long chalk. You know, I suppose Mr. Right, if I may be permitted a hackneyed term for once, I suppose he'll come along one day. But I don't mind admitting that I hope it's not for a long time yet. I don't want to lose you for a while. Is that too selfish of me?
Of course not.
I'm very fond of you, you know. I don't know where I'd be without you. Always been more than a daughter to me, more a companion. Of course, we share the same interests. That means a great deal. When your mother died, well, there didn't seem much worth living for. I was too old for any more major expeditions. Oh, I could have gone along. I was invited to join several expeditions. Old pen love. I had a reputation. But it wasn't for me. As far as Camp 4, then sit on the shoulder while the assault teams went ahead. No, I felt pretty low. Then I realized I had a daughter. I found something to do. There was so much to show you. I got hold of this place, and in teaching you to love the British hills, I learned to love them again for myself. We walked, we climbed. In winter, I taught you to ski. It was like living my own youth again.
What did Jed want?
Oh, he came to tell me he'd seen 2 young fools up on the pit of the Trolls.
Oh?
It's on his land, you know. He was a bit concerned that they might kill themselves. He came to ask me what I thought.
What did you say?
I told him he was right. Our 2 barroom mountaineering friends, I imagine.
What's he going to do about it?
Shoo them off, I suppose.
Do you think they'll go quietly?
That's what we'll have to see. I said I'd go along with them in the morning. Try to talk a bit of sense into their thick heads. If I can't make them see reason, then they'll be made to go.
Attention!
Right!
Right. Hey. Oh, hey, talk about graft.
What's the rock like?
Rock, there's an old ceiling. There's a sort of crust of mouldy slag. I can't thrust any more pegs, and it's not solid enough to take an expansion bolt. So you better send us a wedge up, will you? One of the big ones.
Right.
They're building a house.
Boom!
A public house.
Hooray!
They've only got 1 bar.
Boom!
It's a mile long.
Hooray!
Hey, you two!
Hello.
Ooh, funny little men down there.
You two on the rocks.
What?
Come on down.
Can't jump in the cart. They don't sell beer.
Boo!
They give it away.
Hey!
You heard the farmer. Come on down.
Oh, come and get us. Hey, Seth, give us some more slack, will you? I'm moving up.
Right.
Slack!
You young fools, come down at once before you break your necks.
Shut up, you stupid idiot. Easy now.
Both hands on the wedge. Now, keep feet free of etriers and swing out. Pull out and up. Chin up to the wedge. Change grip and press up.
How you doing?
Great! Drop the overhang now. Shift grip again. Hold weight on one hand. Reach up quickly with the other. Jam it in the crack.
Now come along, lads. You're trespassing, you know. You're on private property. Don't screw your pointed head.
I'll sing you a song and it's not very long. Hey, be ready with some slack, will you?
How you doing?
There's a chalk stone I'm making for. It's magnificent up here. It's like climbing on the balcony of heaven. Now lean out on one jammed fist. That chalk stone. Come on, boys. Just one long stretch. Now both hands on the chalk stone. One boot jammed in the crack. Then the other. Free climbing now. I can hear the Valkyries! Oh! Flaming, yeah?
Hey, are you all right, kid?
No bones broken.
Oh, I thought you was a goner for a minute.
You thought? Roll on. You know, if that last peg hadn't held, I would have been. Oh.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, a couple of bruises where I hit the ledge. It's nothing. I've seen the pot lids do worse tumbling after the pram. Now, come on. Let's get off this cliff. Hey, your hands look rough. You think you can make it?
Ah, sure. Come on.
Easy now, sir. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me have a look at those hands. Oh, they'll need some treatment. There's a first aid kit in my car.
Oh, thanks.
What about you? Oh, that's a nasty-looking bruise on your forehead. You know, you should have an X-ray.
I'm okay.
Well, I can't make you go to hospital, but you should, you know. You've had a very lucky escape. Now, don't push your luck.
You might have broken your neck. You're very lucky indeed.
The only luck I had was bad luck. That shock stone coming out. As for the rest, the rope and the pegs did their job. Next time...
There won't be a next time, young man.
You want to bet on it, mate? I'm going to finish that climb, and I don't mind trespassing to do it. A threat of a 40-bob fine won't stop me, mate.
I thought you might take that attitude. We're prepared for it. Isn't that right, Jed?
No, that's right enough. Jed here has sworn out an injunction. And if you trespass on his land after tomorrow, you'll be committing a contempt of court. And that'll mean more than a 40-bob fine. It'll mean prison.
Ah, this is your doing, isn't it, Professor?
You've been staying in Morgan's barn, haven't you? We had a word with him, too. You'll find your gear outside, ready packed up.
Why, you lousy...
Leave it, Seth.
Well, what's he want to go sticking his nose in for?
He has his reasons. Haven't you, Professor?
I'm simply protecting you from yourself.
Yeah, sure. Oh, come on, Seth. Let's get out our gear.
Look, lads, I wouldn't mind you coming over my land, but what Professor Penlove says is right. John Cliff is far too dangerous to climb.
Well, that's what he told you.
What other reason would the professor have for wanting you turned off?
Ask him.
I'm sure I don't know what the young man's talking about. What other motives he thinks I have, other than concern for his safety, I can't imagine.
Go on, ask him. Everything aboard, mate?
Yeah.
Bike's a damn sight lighter anyway.
We've left a ton of ironmongery on that cliff. Couple of dozen pegs, couple of quid's worth of expansion bolts.
Yeah, not to worry.
Yeah, but I hate to leave all that gear.
Don!
Hey, up.
Don!
Oh, hello then.
My father told me you were leaving.
Oh, yeah. He saw to everything bar putting petrol in the bike.
I'm sorry. That cliff meant a lot to you, didn't it?
The great white whale. Oh, don't worry. There are other cliffs.
Not in Grisdale.
You'll miss me then?
Oh, Don.
Oh, God, get off with you. Hey, paint some good pictures, won't you?
I'll try.
So long.
So long.
We'll have a pint on the road. I'll think about you.
I'll go up to the tarn sometimes.
Yeah, sure. See you.
See you.
Hey, you're right, Arcade.
Yeah. Hey, which way are you going, lad?
North. We left a lot of gear on that cliff and we've got a climb to finish. We can slip up there in the dark. It'll be light by 4 and we can start climbing. By the time we're spotted, it'll be too late for anybody to stop us, injunction or not.
Oh, but we can't, my hands. If you fall, I'll never be able to hold you.
I won't fall.
Look, it's too dodgy. I'm not doing it.
I'll do it solo then. Get off the bike. Well, what are you waiting for?
Oh, okay. You're a raving nutcase, but I'll come with you.
Ha ha! That's me, old mucker.
You mean they're up there now? Oh, the young fools. Yes, all right, right away. Brenda,
Yes, Daddy?
get the Land Rover out of the garage, will you, while I can put my boots on?
Why? What's the hurry?
That was the police. Those 2 hooligans are on the pit again. They want a rescue party standing by. They're trying to persuade them to come down, but they're not having much luck.
Lots of people, eh? Hey, give us a bit more slack, Seth. I'm traversing out onto the face.
Well, go easy then. Go very easy.
Yeah, I'll put a piton in.
We've tried every means of persuasion, sir, but without any luck. We've also read them the injunctions, and they refuse to come down.
Stubborn young fools.
Now, we could get a man up there. Well, it's sometimes more effective to reason with someone when you don't have to bawl your head off. Is it possible, sir?
Barely possible. We're experienced mountain climbers. They've left their beacons in place, but it's far too dangerous. If one of them were to fall, they'd bring a lot of rock down with them. Anyone on the cliff before would almost certainly be smashed to pieces. All we can do is stand by.
And what chance have they got if there's an accident?
None whatsoever. Certainly none for the leader. The way the second man's hands are burnt, you could never hold him, even if he only fell a few feet. A 12-stone man falling 10 feet exerts a strain of over a ton. The rope would run through his fingers just as if it were running through a pulley. When the rope ran out, the strain would be incalculable. It had to snap like so much cotton, in which case the leader only would be killed, and we'd be left with the problem of getting the second man off the cliff, with the flesh torn off his hands clean to the bone this time. Alternatively, the rope would hold, and it would be the Petons which gave way. In that case, the second man, too, would be pulled off.
They'd both be killed. And the chances of the leader falling?
Certain. That cliff isn't climbable.
No, Daddy.
What, my dear?
Pardon, miss?
The cliff is climbable. It's dangerous, and it might involve different techniques to those of your generation, Daddy. But Don said it's climbable, and he knows what he's doing.
That illiterate young hooligan?
He's not a hooligan, and his literacy might surprise you. He's pig-headed, perhaps, or he wouldn't have climbed today with Seth's hands in the condition they are. But it was you, Daddy, who forced his hand by persuading Jed to take out that ridiculous injunction. He's no more foolhardy than you were in 1946 on Everest, when half the expedition lost their lives because you refused to turn back.
I never thought you'd throw that in my face.
And I'm sick of the way that people like you and all your old chums constantly pick at people like Don, just because they don't have your set of rules.
Now, wait! Where are you going?
My hands aren't raw from rope burns. Don?
Well, you do meet some people in funny places. Did you come here often?
Move over, Seth.
You'll have to go all the way. Once we pass this next overhang, there'll be no turning back. The final wall will go, but it'll be tough.
Can you get down all right, Seth?
Yeah, I'll manage.
Well, be seeing you then, mate.
Hey, you reckon I can trust you on your own with her?
Cheeky. We'll be busy. Hey, have a brew waiting for us, will you?
Yeah, sure. Well, the best of British luck then, Wack.
Well, I'm told that here in Grisdale we have today witnessed one of the most important mountaineering feats of the decade. Don McGrath, 26 of Liverpool, is just completing the final pitch of the 500-foot overhanging pit of the Trolls. There he is, almost at the top of the final wall, moving slowly, and my word, he must be pretty exhausted after over 18 hours on the face of this ferocious cliff. Crowds turned out to watch breathlessly as he and his fair partner, Miss Brenda Penlove, conquered the great overhang and inched their way out onto the tremendous terminal wall of the cliff they said could not be climbed. And now you can see the lead climber just reaching the top. There he is, 26-year-old Don McGrath from Liverpool. And there's quite a reception party waiting to pat him on the back. Well, they took the easy way up the side of the cliff, of course. I see he's been offered a flask. Someone had the foresight to take up some liquid refreshment. And my word, I bet he's ready for it off.
Duncan McNeice reporting yesterday from Grisdale in Yorkshire. He looked pretty precarious himself, balanced on that boulder. Fortunately, his beard didn't catch the wind, or there might have been a nasty accident. At the end of the film, the second climber, 29-year-old London teacher Miss Brenda Penlove, was still on the cliff. We thought you might like to know that she got safely to the top as well. We thought you might also like to know that we have just learned that no further action will, in fact, be taken as a result of the violation of the injunction. Well, that's all from Scan for this evening.
I'm afraid we've only bottled beer left, sir. We had such a run on the draft last night, what with the celebration party and all the reporters and all.
Oh, well, bottles it'll have to be then.
Oh, please, I'll pay for those, if I may.
Oh, you would you? Well, go on,
no, go. Let him say.
Thank you. If I may be allowed to presume upon your time, I'd like to have a word with you.
Go ahead.
What I have to say is confidential.
Well, there's nobody in the snug. This quite enough for you?
Well, first of all, in spite of what the whole Dale believes by now, when I tried to run you out, I had no idea about your... Well, that you had become friendly with my daughter. I wanted to know that I was motivated only by my desire to prevent what I thought would be certain disaster. I still think I was right in trying to stop you. Oh, you climbed the cliff for sure, but where you've led, others less lucky or less skilled are sure to follow. And sooner or later, someone will certainly be killed. Your style of highly mechanized climbing on unpredictable faces is far too dangerous. It should not be practiced.
100 years ago, they said that about all climbing after the deaths on the Matterhorn. Now, little old ladies go up there for an afternoon outing.
Nevertheless, there are limits to what can be humanly achieved without the climber exposing himself to an undue and entirely disproportionate risk. Into a sport that was adventurous, you've introduced a reckless element.
Yeah, well, that's been said too.
You don't like me very much, do you?
No. But the feeling's mutual, isn't it?
I'm sorry, because it doesn't make it any easier for me to ask something of you. To beg. plead if necessary.
Go on.
It's about Brenda. Oh, I know you'll probably think I'm being snobbish, but let me assure you that snobbery doesn't come into it. Oh, I'm not concerned about what class you belong to. I'm not prejudiced in that way. Not one to worry about what's generally referred to as breeding.
Oh,
no, please let me finish. I've always maintained that a chap's origins count far less than what he's made of himself. It's just that, well, can't you see that with your different cultural and educational backgrounds, anything between you and Brenda could never work out? That's why I'm appealing to you, man to man. I don't know how far this relationship has gone, but if you have any genuine feeling for her, you'll break it off now.
Oh, you needn't worry yourself, Squire. I've done all I came to this valley for. I'm leaving tonight. And don't bother your head about there being any Lochinvar stuff. The bike will only carry 2. Besides, I've got a wife at home.
You young swine, you deceitful...
No, there was no deceit. She knew. I told her right at the start.
My God, it makes me sick in my stomach to think of you involving Brenda in one of your sordid little affairs.
There's nothing sordid about it, actually. Just the opposite. Oh, well. I'll see you round at the lads' club spot. Ping-pong balls at 5 paces. Come on, the old butty. Let's get weaving.
Wren? Hello there.
Hi, Chris.
Look, it's a mold used to cast bronze axe heads. I found it just on the other side of the lake. It's a natural place for settlement. I hope to unearth much more.
That's exciting for you.
Pure chance took me up there. Your father was going that way, and I thought I might as well set off in the same direction. Oh, by the way, he asked me to tell you he'll be back late. He's planning on doing the 30-mile Four Peaks walk or something.
Yes, he's got some bile to get out of his system.
How's the painting going?
Over there. See for yourself.
Oh, may I?
Yes, do.
Hey, that's very good. It's jolly impressive. I like the way you've got the tarn and the hills round about. It's very stark, though.
It's in memory of someone who's dead.
What?
The only one of us who's real, and he's dead. Come over here, Chris.
Oh, what is it?
Sit down. Chris.
Brenna.
Dear Chris. Can you forgive me? Even though he doesn't know it yet, he's dead. If he doesn't kill himself one way, it'll be another. It isn't on a mountain, then is certain to have a smash on the road, the way he drives that stupid motorbike. He thinks he's impregnable, so confident, so sure of himself. But sooner or later, at night perhaps, he'll blaze into something unforeseen. A patch of oil or grease or ice on the road, a skid which normally he'd be able to control, but this time there just happens to be something coming the other way, and the skid takes him into its path. Eyes close involuntarily at the blaze of the headlights, blindly and instinctively wrench at the handlebars to avoid the impending collision. The bike becomes a flying thing, leaving the road to smash through the fence and plunge down a steep gorge in a trail of sparks, smashing from boulder to boulder.
Brenna.
Don't speak. Listen to the lake.
The Pit of the Trolls by Jim Andrew was produced by Alan Ayckbourn.